Hello, hello. This is gonna be a fun one. This is a match people have been psyched for. It's Sun Clan versus Squad Zero. This is the best of global gym battles. This is the best. This is gonna be the best match. All right, just give me 1 second to make sure we're all set up on YouTube. I just want to make absolutely sure we're all set up on YouTube. It looks like we're good. Looks like we're doing good. All right. Alright, let's get into the game. Let's get into the first game. It looks like the first game is already started. I'm gonna go ahead and put that right up. We do have a delay. We are streaming with a little bit of a delay. Let me make sure that that's indicated on the screen somewhere. There we go. Alright, we're gonna fix the scores in just a second, but for now I want to jump right in because we have already begun. It looks like we've already gotten started. So I am just going to go right into the first game. Here we go. Just put that onto the screen. Yes. Okay. Discord not cooperating. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Near it. Near it. Here we go. Alright, so Squad Zero is playing their famous Solgaleo Shiinotic deck. I mean, everyone has seen this deck, I think, since last week. Since Squad Zero first started running this, and everyone's been taking it and putting it into ranked, right? These were like the inventors of this deck, the Solgaleo Shiinotic deck. We already see that Squad Zero has picked up a juicy prize point. That's Zesty from Squad Zero, doing an amazing job, and they're facing off against a Buzzhole. Now, Buzzhole will be getting that Lusamine. It is going to be able to big beat this turn, and that's going to put Solgaleo into threat range. That's going to put Solgaleo into, hey, if you attack, you knock yourself out range. Very scary, very even match. This is your classic Buzzhole versus Solgaleo. And a nice easy one to start things off, but this is not going to be. This is not going to be normal matches. No. This is not going to be normal matches at all. That's not how this is going to go. No, this is going to be very exciting because whenever Squad Zero is on the field, they do the unexpected, the unknown, and the 300 million IQ plays. Alright, Big Beat went off, and Squad Zero is ready to start kicking some butt. Now, right now, if Solgaleo attacks, it is going to go down. It's going to self-defeat, right? There's no question. It's not surviving this. Cosmog is going to be pulled by the Shiinotic there. And they're going to get a second one. I mean, this is the full... You know how this deck works by now. Last week, it was a surprise. Last week, they had invented this deck. But now, everyone knows it. You pull all your Pokemon. It's really great. It'd be nice if they had a rare candy. They just don't right now. And this is the first big decision they got to make. Right? If you attack, you can't do that. You know, if you attack here, Solgaleo goes down. Big Beat is going to knock out something. Right? If they're able to shuffle successfully with a second Celesteela, with some kind of retreat reshuffle tech. Right? If they have like a Lusamine retreat reshuffle. You got to be careful. That could lose you the game right here. Yeah, Sun Clan could just take the game. And while we're talking about that, let me take this opportunity to just fix the scores real quick and zero them out. Put some nice juicy zeros onto the field so that we can see what everyone's score is. And just a reminder, in Global Gym Battles, you need 10 points to win. Each point represents a deck that you have defeated, that you have sent to the Shadow Realm, that it's gone, right? Each team will field 5 players, and each player has 2 decks. That's how the global gym battles work. Once you have defeated a player's 2 decks, that player is gone, and you have to bring out your next player. But once a player is on the field, they have to keep playing with the same deck until it's defeated. Then they go to their second deck until that's defeated. Then they're wiped out. So there's a lot of strategy into what player you're sending forward, what decks you're bringing to this. And even though only 5 players from your team can be fielded, you do have the option of having your entire team on the Discord chat to strategize and make moves. So this is a full team game. All of Squad Zero is advising Zesty, though Zesty is piloting the deck. Alright, so Squad Zero did manage to bring out their second Solgaleo here. Their decision kind of not to attack last turn, and instead to just sacrifice the Solgaleo, right? Very interesting. Some of us might have made the mistake of attacking there. And they might have gotten away with it. I mean, it didn't really look like Sun Clan had the ability to retreat and reissue that Buzzhole, but you never know. You never know. They might have won the game right there, and Squad Zero didn't want to take the chance, just playing it very safe, very responsibly. Nah, that's the kind of play we see from Squad Zero. They're very patient. They don't make reckless moves. No. They're not about that. They're gonna bide their time and make sure they're gonna, get that win con, not give their opponents any chances. But Sun Clan is a legendary team. This is a match between arch rivals. This is a match people have been waiting for, right? I'm excited to see how this goes. And so right now, Squad Zero's got Sun Clan in checkmate, right? Well, not checkmate, let's say check. Like, if you leave Buzzhole there, it's gone, right? You leave Buzzhole there, it's going away. I don't think you want that. And what's interesting is Sun Clan put Formosa on the bench, meaning there's no second Celesteela. So any retreat cycling they're gonna do with Big Beat, they're only gonna have one Ultra Ball thruster to pull it off. Like that. Formosa attacks, get some good damage in there. Dead Pokeball. Yeah, you don't want that as Squad Zero. You don't want that. That's not going to do anything. And remember, with that Solgaleo going down, Sun Clan only needs one more prize point, but it's a little bit more difficult for Squad Zero. They need 2. So if Squad Zero attacks and knocks out this Formosa, well, that doesn't win them the game. They still need another prize point. It's a little tricky, They're probably thinking right now, all right, if they draw Sabrina, we're toast. So, if Squad Zero just revealed they only have 1 card left in their deck, and I think we know what card that is. It's this one. It's Cyrus. That's the last card in their deck. We've seen it before. We know it's there. They actually chose not to attack because they win on Cyrus. They play Cyrus, they bring in the Buzzhole, and knock it out. And the reason they didn't attack is because they're worried that if they do, Solgaleo goes down to 140, theoretically, Buzzhole plus Trainer Red would knock it out. So, thinking ahead, they're like, actually, we don't need to attack Formosa. We just need to draw the last card in our deck. Knowing that Cyrus was buried there, we bring it in. We bring in the Buzzhole, taking it out for a very safe, secure, easy first win against Sun Clan. That's the Squad Zero we know and love. Well played, Zesty. And that's going to be the first point. That's going to be the first point of the match to Squad Zero. All right, just give me a moment while I update the game text. This is the text from last week. I'm just going to update that real quick. Game 1 goes to Zesty from Squad Zero. Well played. Very well played. Well, they're just diving right into game 2. Give me a second to take a breath. Give me a second to hold on. I just need to update something real quick. I need to make sure the stream's running on YouTube. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna check the stream real quick. Give me one moment. So before we get into the second game, because I do just need to let people know that we're live. Ay. Give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Hold on. All right, we're live. We're looking good. It looks like here we go. Just gonna put this some places. I just gonna put this stream in a few places. Just give me 1 second, gosh darn it. Sun Clan versus Squad Zero. Here we go. All right. Thank you for being a little bit patient with me. I'm gonna turn the game back on. Just 1 second. 1 second. All right. We're back in a game 2, and already we see the massive Mushroom Solgaleo deck that's very common now, but was basically invented by Squad Zero. Like, Squad Zero was one of the first teams I've ever seen to use this deck, and then suddenly it was everywhere in Ranked. Suddenly it was everywhere, but the first place I ever saw it was in Squad Zero. They're crazy. They're crazy. And meanwhile, Sun Clan's Yosh is bringing out Giratina Darkrai. Giratina Darkrai is a good deck. It's a very good deck. I mean, this is a deck that has been meta since it first came out, and it has remained meta in every single season since. This is a good deck. But the Mighty Mushroom has arrived. Squad Zero is trying to decide if they want to evolve the front or the back line. You know, if you evolve the front, that could go down. You got to be a little careful, but they're evolving the front. That's where they want it. They want a little bit of extra health. Oh, that's a nice Cosmom. That's going to give them just what they need to get that Solgaleo next turn right in time. Right in time. But there's some concerns here. There's some concerns here on behalf of Squad Zero. Because Giratina Darkrai is a very powerful deck, and you have to consider that it comes online next turn, right? Darkrai's going to get to do 20 more damage of poke. Giratina's going to be able to bellow and get 1 more energy. Darkrai can attack next turn, potentially. Giratina could attack next turn, right? It depends where you put that energy. So whatever happens, Squad Zero is going to have to be a little careful in how they play this, right? Ooh, the energy goes onto Giratina. That's significant. That's very significant. The reason they played it like that, the reason Sun Clan played it like that, is because next turn they want the energy to go onto Darkrai and they want Giratina to attack. By doing both of those at the same time, Giratina plus the Darkrai poke will be doing 150 damage. Think about it. If Sun Clan had put the energy on Darkrai this turn and bellowed with Giratina, and you want to attack with Giratina, now you put energy on Giratina, it does 130 damage. But by putting all of the energy on Giratina, by front-loading it onto Giratina this turn, while Shiinotic is on the field, you save the Darkrai poke. You're saving it for next turn. That's very scary for the Solgaleo. Oh yeah, that is really spooky for our Golden Lion over here. And Zesty has 2 Golden Lions. I just realized that. That's pretty funny. Now, something we might see. Squad Zero. What? Squad Zero has put double energy onto Shiinotic. That's not what I expected they would do. They're actually attacking with Gentle Slap here, putting Giratina into range for Solgaleo. Okay. I mean, yeah, I expected them to go right into Solgaleo, right? Smack Giratina for 120 damage, and then cycle into the second Solgaleo. But they actually just attacked with the Shiinotic instead. If you drop Shiinotic, you lose 1 prize point, which means only 1 more Solgaleo can go down because it's worth 2 prize points. So they're only ever going to be able to lose 1 Solgaleo after this. Yeah, and SunClan had the answer. SunClan had the answer to this. They had the nurse, they had the potion. You know, that's what you want in the Giratina Darkrai deck. It's the classic healing version, which I think is the most powerful version of Giratina Darkrai because of this situation. You heal off that initial poke damage. I gotta wonder if maybe Squad Zero made a mistake or underestimated which version potentially, because I don't believe these are open deck lists. They're not open deck lists. So Squad Zero doesn't know what their opponent has. In 1 second, I'm just gonna check Discord real quick. I'm getting some pokes. I just want to make sure. Hold on. I just want to make sure nothing untowards is happening. There's nothing I need to worry about. All right. The Pocket Chefs are telling me that they did use Solgaleo first. Whoa. Wait a minute. The screen went dead. Give me a second. Give me there's a quick second there. They're just fixing that. All right, yeah. So the Pocket Chefs, Team Pocket Chefs, are telling me that they did use the Solgaleo first. All right, sorry. While the screen was blank there, I do apologize about that. I just want to make sure because I was getting pings on Discord and I thought it might be like a judge thing or an emergency thing or the delay wasn't working, something was going on. Giratina has knocked out the Shiinotic and Squad Zero has sent in a second Shiinotic. Effectively, that's what's been happening so far. It seems like they're sacrificing Shiinotic to try to get more damage onto Giratina. They're in an interesting position right now. They chose to play Guzma instead of Oak, which is interesting. Very interesting. Just get rid of that poison barb. I'm not sure where they go from here, though. I'm really not sure where Squad Zero goes from here. Putting energy on Shiinotic doesn't really... I mean, I guess, you know, you're good if you need to use it next turn somehow. This is a tricky situation. I'm not sure what Squad Zero does from here. But anyway, yeah, so the Pocket Chefs are saying that they used Shiinotic Solgaleo first. Just making sure to, you know, give credit where credit is due. Squad Zero is definitely the first team I saw using it. But definitely want to make sure we credit Pocket Chefs if they used it first. Anyway, so back to the game. So Squad Zero has chosen to put extra energy onto Cosmog, and they seem to be willing to sacrifice the Shiinotic here. I think their plan is that if a Sabrina is played and SunClan tries to stall them, they go into Cosmog, 1 energy retreat with Cosmog, Solgaleo comes in. Or just, you know, Rising Road, Solgaleo comes in. If they knock out Shiinotic, Solgaleo comes in, and now Giratina, because of its recoil, can be knocked out by Solgaleo. So the entire plan here seems to be to just get Giratina to damage itself, and then bring in Solgaleo. And I guess you might as well, right? I mean, you've lost 1 Shiinotic. You might as well kind of, you know, go for the second one. There's the Sabrina. Called it. There's the Sabrina. It's an obvious choice here. I mean, you've kind of got 1 or 2 options. You really, if you think they have a Cyrus, you got to bring in the Solgaleo because they're predicting Cyrus, I guess. Yeah, they got to be predicting Cyrus. It's the only way that makes sense. Because normally what I would have done, what anyone would do, is you'd send in the Cosmog, right? You'd sacrifice the Cosmog, bring Solgaleo in next turn. But that's not what they did. They brought in the Solgaleo. The only reason you do that is because you were predicting Cyrus on the Shiinotic, and you were worried that they were going to knock out Cosmog, Cyrus, Shiinotic, knock that out, and skip your Solgaleos, and beat you without ever knocking out a Lion. That's the real secret. to 1,000 Pokemon versus 1,000 lions or whatever. You just don't fight the lions. You blow up the planet. I don't know. So yeah, basically, I think the reason Squad Zero made that very unusual play and deliberately letting their Solgaleo get hit was because with Lily, Solgaleo is at 110 health. Darkrai plus Darkrai Poke cannot knock that out, and so they are proofed against Cyrus. Very, very big brain play. I don't know if you noticed that. Very big brain play by Squad Zero. I'd say 99% of us would have just sacked Cosmog there, but not Squad Zero. They're like, no, you're going to get Cyrus. We know you're going to get Cyrus. We're not going to let you win when you inevitably get Cyrus. Here are your choices. You can Cyrus Shiinotic and get 1 prize point, which is worthless. Or you can Cyrus our Solgaleo, but it lives. Your choice. Your choice. Very, 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 like, stable, mature plays from Squad Zero. Ooh. The Mars goes down. Squad Zero didn't have the most useful hand in the world anyway, but it could have done some stuff, you know. The drawdown would have been nice for sure. They're at 5 cards, and I think they definitely do need some tech. They definitely need a little tech because, yeah, it turns out not to have mattered that much. Yeah. I mean, your Squad Zero. What are you thinking right now, right? What are you thinking? You didn't draw the Lily you wanted. You probably wanted a second Lily. You didn't get it. Didn't get it. What's that last card, right? What's that last card? I mean, there are 2 things Squad Zero can do. There's only 2 things they can do. One of them is retreat into the Shiinotic and just sack that. Fully sack that. You lose on Cyrus, but, you know, better than nothing. The other is... What? It didn't end up mattering. Cyrus was played. I really wish I could have seen what kind of 300 IQ thing they were doing there by bringing Solgaleo forward, but putting the energy on the Shiinotic. What were they playing for? I don't know. I don't know. In any case, SunClan, the power of Cyrus, right? SunClan takes game 2 and evens it up. This is a dead even match. I mean, this is what we expected, right? This is what we expected from Squad Zero versus SunClan. SunClan wasn't just gonna let Squad Zero get away with their usual, haha, we 300 IQ you and somehow win. No. SunClan was just, no, we're ending this. It's our turn. GG Cyrus. Alright, we're going to update the scoreboard to reflect that SunClan is now tied with Squad Zero. Okay, so it's 1-1 right now, right? Zesty has 1, and SunClan has 1. One of these 2 players is going down. One of these 2 players is getting sent to the graveyard, and they will not be playing anymore today. It's either Zesty or Yosh. Zesty or Yosh. One must go. Whatever happens, by the end of this game, one of these 2 players will have both of their decks eliminated and will get the initiative, right? By the initiative, what I mean is that once a player has lost both of their decks, a team is allowed to bring in any one of their remaining players that they want, which gives you a lot of options as to what deck you can bring forward. It's kind of like if a Pokemon was knocked out in the video game, right? Then you bring out another Pokemon. Well, if a player is knocked out, you bring out another player, and they have another deck. So whoever loses will be forced to be the first one to bring out another player, which means whoever wins will be the second one to do this, the second one to counterpick, and will be in the lead. So this is a really critical match. Winning this match is a huge advantage. for the rest of the set, right? Until they catch up. Until they catch up. It's a big advantage. It's a very big advantage. So this is going to be a hype match, right? 1-1. Which team will take the lead in this set? It looks like Squad Zero is going to attack into the Poison Barb here. They got heads. It's gonna do 40 damage. That could matter. We've seen that deck has potions. That coin flip could matter. That was good heads for Squad Zero. And we see Type Null is poison. That's gonna be a lot of iterative damage, and we know that Type Null has some issues retreating. Right? It doesn't like to retreat. It's gonna be a problem. I mean, just a little bit of a problem. And just a reminder, there is a 10-minute delay. So I do apologize if anyone's trying to talk to me in the chat. It's hard to respond there. There's a 10-minute delay because this is a very serious series. There's prize money on the line. You know, whoever wins this match will be in a really good spot to get into the season finals in a high seed, and then they could win a lot of money from that. So you know, there's a delay for a reason, just to keep things, you know, fair. All right. They're thinking. Yoshi's thinking. The whole team's thinking. Oh, they go for Sabrina. Yeah, Sabrina is a classic way to mess with this. You know, to mess with the Silvally Rampardos, to mess with its timing, potentially snipe a fossil. Getting a little Darkrai poked there. And what's really fun about that Sabrina is the poison did exactly 10 damage to Type Null when that evolves into Silvally, which generally has 110 health. It'll have 100 health instead of 110, which means it can be one-shot by Darkrai Poke plus Darkrai Attack. So that was a clutch Sabrina by SunClan. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. They got that Type Null exactly in range to be KO'd after it evolves later in the game. Keep that in mind. They're thinking like 10 turns ahead, this SunClan. They're thinking ahead. Now, Squad Zero's got a decision here, right? They're holding some interesting cards. You play Iono, you lose those, you know. You know what you're losing if you play that Iono. No, those rare candies go away. Your hope of a Rampardos coming in and smashing up the field disappears. But you play Gladion, you could be forced into playing Iono later if you want the full damage from Type Null. They go for the Gladion. I think that was the right call. Trying to figure out which one to evolve, front or back. I'd evolve the one in front if it were me. But maybe they're worried about getting Sabrina again. I mean, why would you evolve the one with... But huh? I honestly have no idea what Squad Zero is doing. I have no idea why they did that. Maybe someone in chat can put a suggestion as to why they did that. I'm not gonna see it for I'm not gonna see it for a little bit, but I'm gonna check the chat as soon as they give me a break. They've been going game. As soon as they give me a break, I'm gonna check the chat. Though I'll be 10 minutes delayed, so my past, your future, something like that, timey-wimey weirdness. I don't know why they did that. This means that their Type Null won't be able to retreat unless they have an X-Speed Relief in this deck. I'm not sure what they're running. Some kind of gambit from Squad Zero here. Why wouldn't you evolve the one in front? Maybe they predicted the potion. Maybe they predicted the potion would go down onto the Darkrai, and they want to do a little more damage with Type Null first. You know, soften it up before going in with Silvally, because they know that Silvally would be... But it's going to get one-shot by the Darkrai anyway, and you do 50 damage, which, at minimum, which secures the kill next turn. I don't... I don't know about this. Why didn't they just... Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just evolve an attack with Silvally last turn. I'm not... I don't know. I don't know what Squad Zero was thinking there. But we do see some very fun stuff coming online. We do see some very fun stuff coming online for Squad Zero. All right, heads, that's going to be 40 damage. Though those heads are significant. We talked about this, but now even if you Nurse Joy that, but it's in range. It's in range for some funny plays. Even if you Nurse Joy Darkrai, it will still go down to an empowered Silvally. Right, Silvally plus a supporter card. Yeah, Squad Zero hoping that Yosh does not have another Sabrina. Really don't want to get Sabrina again in this position. This is, not a good time for Sabrinas. Oh, and Nihilego comes out. The poke is going to knock out type Null, forcing Squad Zero to switch into a new Pokemon kind of before they're ready to do so. They choose Silvally. That is actually funny. SunClan doesn't have to attack. They could bail. I don't know if that's good, but they technically could. I mean, this is global gym battles. My general, this is what the players are gonna do. Just goes out the window. It just goes right out the window. I don't know what anybody's gonna do in global gym battles. They pull out some crazy plays in the series. Because you got like 10 people on a Discord call, all of the best players in the world talking about strategy, right? All right, they got 5 seconds left. They're going to attack. Yeah. I wish I could know what they were thinking about doing. Because if they were taking that much time, they were thinking about a different play. I wish I could know what that was. I don't know why they're hesitating to evolve here. It's like they were clearly about to evolve, and then someone said, wait, don't do that. But yeah, evolve. Just drag the card over. I kind of want to just reach into the screen and take it and plop it on there. Evolve it! It's Rampardos. I mean, well, one possibility is maybe they're thinking of, like, using it to surprise their opponent. Play, like, information mind games. Are they just trying to play mind games? I don't know. I feel like SunClan is good enough that that kind of stuff won't work on them, but I don't know. All right, they go for the evolve. They go for the nice sane evolution. Yeah. So Giovanni comes down. That the real point of that is obviously not for the plus 10 damage, but for the plus 50 damage. So Silvally gets its special effect. Darkrai goes down, but this is where things get messy. Because Nihilego's on the field, Silvally is going to knock itself out here. I don't know if Squad Zero accounted for that. Maybe they didn't really have a choice. I mean, they could have brought in Rampardos to pull that, but I don't think it would have quite worked. So Rampardos is going online, and Giratina is going to attack it, which will put it in range to knock itself out, which is really, really bad for Squad Zero. You have to remember that if the game ends in a tie, I'm going to put that in air quotes, a tie, but you don't have any Pokemon on the bench, you lose, right? You lose. So it's not looking good for Squad Zero. Giratina attacks. Rampardos, first of all, can't even KO Giratina. Second of all, even if you could somehow, you still lose. I don't actually know what Squad Zero could even draw here that would save them. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm really wondering if that shenanigan with the evolving the backline Silvally might have made a difference or not. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, that's game. That's game. All right, so what's going to happen here? I think Squad Zero is going to go for the funny ending. It'll look like a tie, right? Both players have 4 prize points. The game ends, but yeah, that's a win for SunClan. That's a win for SunClan because Squad Zero has nothing on the bench. Well played to Sun Clan. I'm going to update the scores. This is going to be a huge advantage. And I've never seen this before, by the way. Like, in every time we're spectating Squad Zero, they're usually ahead early on. They're usually a win ahead. This is the first time I've seen them behind like this. Like, even last week when we saw that incredible series against the Japanese team that went down to the wire, went down to literally the last game. Squad Zero started out ahead. But this is a whole new kind of challenge for Squad Zero. Yosh takes game 3 for Sun Clan. And that's going to put some crazy pressure onto Squad Zero. They now have no choice but to bring in their next player. Hey, Bene, how are you doing? You don't play red in this version? I think you're right. If you're back in time watching like the Giratina match maybe, or the... Yeah, no, yeah, I think you're right about red, but, you know, just what people are accounting for. You never know, you know? Yeah, it's always best to defend against cards that your opponent could theoretically have, just in case. Just in case. You never know, right? Oh, wow, a lot of people are actually watching this on Twitch. I did not expect that. Yeah, usually it's just YouTube. Hey, Twitch, how are you doing? How are you doing? All right, so they're getting ready for the next game. They're getting ready for the next game. Now, the reason that they're not immediately jumping into it, right, is because Squad Zero has to pick which player is going up next. And it looks like they've chosen just Samuel. Yeah, it looks like just Samuel is gonna go in next for Squad Zero, just based on who's streaming. So the way this works is that once a player has lost both of their decks, which has just happened, Zesty has been knocked out by Sun Clan. Squad Zero has to bring in a new player, and that player has 2 decks, right? They have 2 decks. They got to pick which one to use, and then once that's defeated, they have to use the second one. So they'll be locked into those 2 decks until the next player is defeated. And remember, Sun Clan hasn't lost to anybody yet. Nope, Sun Clan still has Yosh. So once this Giratina Darkrai deck is defeated, Sun Clan gets to bring in a new player, and they'll have already seen what deck Squad Zero's using. So they'll get to counterpick it. It's a big advantage for Sun Clan, right? So Squad Zero needs to pick a player that has decks that are generally solid, that don't really have a counter. Because the last thing you want is to give Sun Clan the chance to counter you right now. That would be Squad Zero's worst nightmare. That's the last thing they want. We need a counter-proof deck. Alright, I'm just taking a look. Hold on a second. 2 different players are streaming from Squad Zero. I'm trying to figure out which one of them is... Oh, no, it's Dark. Dark is actually the player, not Samuel. I've been bamboozled. I've been bamboozled. What is going on? Oh, that's some painful lag. That's some... We need a spectator mode. I'm starting a petition. Pocket, give us spectator mode. Alright, so, unfortunately, Dark's phone is very, very... that. But if you're having trouble seeing it, it's fixing a little bit. Oof, that internet connection. That internet connection. Alright, so it seems like Squad Zero has chosen a Shaman hybrid, possibly in a Ricario Greninja deck, but unfortunately they've bricked and just drawn the Shaman initially. Oh, no Pokeballs. No, the Oak didn't get anything. Squad Zero is bricked hard. Squad Zero is bricked harder than Dark's internet right now. I don't know how else to say it. Oh, that's some grindy lag. Sorry, there's nothing I can do. It's their phone. It's their internet connection displaying on Discord. So until Pokemon Pocket gives us a spectator mode, there's nothing I can do about that. But I will narrate the game in case, you know, the pixels don't show you what's happening. Alright, so yeah, it looks like Squad Zero is playing some kind of Greninja or Ricario deck. That would just be my guess from the energy types we're seeing. I'm not actually 100% sure, but just from the energy, that's what I think they're doing. But they started Shaman. Oh, that's so painful. It's the last thing you want to happen. It's the Shaman Brick. I mean, every deck that runs Shaman has a risk that this will happen to you. That you start Shaman and draw no other basics. It's the famous Shaman Brick. It's oh. This is not where you want to be in Squad Zero against your arch rival Sun Clan. Right. This is not where you want to be. All right. That's I think that card is going to get played. Personally, I think that card is going to get played. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you got to fix this situation. Oof. Oof. Everything's going wrong for Squad Zero. Their internet connection is not very strong right now. They're bricking. It's just not their day. All right, it looks like that Iono gave them a little bit of wiggle room here. We see a Ricario come down. We see a Froakie come down. And they clearly have the energy to make some plays now. With water and electric energy on the field, they'll be able to pick, basically, which Pokemon they want to bring forward. Of course, they're picking a Ricario. You're up against Darkrai, right? You're up against Darkrai. You want a Ricario to go forward. Absolutely the right move. And they got to be hoping, against all hope, that Sun Clan does not draw that stinking Cyrus. Because if they draw Cyrus, Shaman is going down and everything's going to poop. Just, we're right into the wonderful world of poop. So, Squad Zero is hoping very hard that the Cyrus doesn't happen. And the Poison Barb doesn't happen, because Nihilgo's coming online. Nihilgo actually came online at a perfect time. Oh, and that was a savage red card! They had Gren in hand, but it was red carded away. This is brutal. Sun Clan is taking Squad Zero to the cleaners right now. With that Nihilgo, that's just going to eat a Ricario for breakfast the second it comes out. It's just going to go nom 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 nom, and that Ricario is done. And that's one of the reasons that the Giratina Darkrai deck has started running one or more Nihilogos. It's mostly just to deal with the Ricario situation. I mean, that's it. Nihilego doesn't really add anything to the Giratina Darkrai deck, to any of its matchups. The one thing it adds, though, is anti-Ricario pressure. Alright, so very obviously, right, Squad Zero is going for double Ricario. They got Oak off the red card, which is nice, but unfortunately they lost the Greninja poke, which is really bad, because Gren plus a Ricario would have defeated Nihilego, but because of the red card, they don't have that. So very well played by Sun Clan with that savage red card. Very well played. Squad Zero is trying to decide whether or not they want to go in with a Ricario now. It's a little risky because being forced to dump energy retreating onto Shaman means that they don't have any extra energy on the back of Ricario. So if Nihilego comes out right now, they could be in a lot of trouble. Luckily, that hand kind of Nurse Joy could maybe save the situation if Nihilego does come out. And it would require Leaf from the Giratina Darkrai deck. I don't think we've seen them run Leaf yet. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. But I don't think we've seen them play Leaf yet. So maybe they don't have it. And if they don't have it, then that's a pretty safe move by Squad Zero. But if there's a way for Darkrai to retreat, this could get messy. Yeah, Sun Clan's thinking. Sun Clan's thinking. Squad Zero, I think, picked a very good deck to fight Giratina Darkrai with. I mean, this is the classic counter to Giratina Darkrai. A Ricario plus Irida plus Shaman. You know, you get the endless heals against the Darkrai poke. You're immune to the big, scary, EX Pokemon. And Gren plus a Ricario will one-shot Nihilego. It's the counter. It's the thing to play. Sort of. But it cannot be denied that they're not in the best spot. They're not in the best spot because that Shaman start really hurt their energy. Nihilego coming online early is hurting them a little bit. But I'd say one thing they have going for them is that Poison Barb hasn't appeared yet. Poison Barb would be devastating, but it hasn't shown up yet. And that means they can keep attacking the Darkrai with a Ricario. So I think the lack of Poison Barb is huge. It makes up for all those other disadvantages, the Shaman Brick, right? Definitely the lack of Poison Barb is big. I'm actually curious what Greninja is going to focus here. Yeah, they go for the Nihilego. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. You definitely want to put that Nihilego on notice, right? Because you don't know what could happen. You know, you don't know what could happen. Maybe Greninja will disappear later. You don't know. But your top priority is taking out that Nihilego, because if Nihilego goes down, you can free cycle Arikarios with Shaman. You might tie, but you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. So that Nihilego is the top priority target. 100% agree. 100% agree with that play. That was a good play. That was a good play. And this is your classic Arikario versus Darkrai Giratina game. You know, it almost doesn't even feel like Global Gym Battles. In Global Gym Battles, you know, we're seeing the big IQ plays, the I could attack, but I don't, because I'm thinking 5 turns ahead shenanigans. But this is a very simple game, and I think a lot of the skill expression is coming in from just the devastating cards that they decided to bring to the table, like that critical red card that wiped out the Greninja from happening earlier, the fact that Squad Zero was able to recover with Iono, right? Each player bringing the right cards in the deck to recover from situations, to cause bad problems for their opponents. That's where we're seeing most of the skill right now. But the game itself is pretty simple. It's, you know, Giratina Darkrai has got to find a way around the Arikario wall. And right now they just can't. They just don't have the cards. It's not in the cards. Yeah, this is pretty. I mean, you don't have to be Squad Zero or SunClan to figure out what's happening this turn. This turn is very, very simple. We boop the Darkrai with our Froggy Ninja, and we boop it again with our Pom-Pom Bird, and it gets sent to the Shadow Realm, where I guess it'll be very happy, because, I mean, it's Darkrai. It kind of lives there, right? Darkrai doesn't mind getting sent to the Shadow Realm. That's just going home for the holidays. I think the reason that Squad Zero is hesitating is they got to put the energy somewhere. They're not sure where. I mean, doesn't really do much for Greninja, but they kind of want energy on Greninja because that could be like some bursty damage later, potentially. And I think Squad Zero is just overthinking this a little bit. You have a very obvious turn. Take it before your time runs out. You got 22 seconds. Just play the game. Oh my goodness, if you time out here, Squad Zero, we're gonna have words later. We're gonna have words. Okay. Yeah, so they kind of make the obvious move, just put the energy on the back bird, attack with the front bird. This is happening in super slow motion because Dark's internet is from the Dark Ages, apparently. And Darkrai has been taken out. How many times did I use the word dark in one sentence? In 2 sentences? I don't know. Dark has defeated Darkrai with their Dark Age internet. Oh, I love a good game. Alright, so a second Darkrai comes forward. The reason that Nihilego can't come forward to deal with the Arikario is because it would get knocked out by the Greninja Poke and the Arikario, which would ultimately give Squad Zero the win. So I'm feeling a little bad for SunClan. I mean, they didn't draw their Poison Barb. They were never able to use Nihilego. But I do think they were a little bit to blame for this, because SunClan made a mistake. They put Darkrai in the front slot without any energy. They were attaching energy to the back Darkrai, this one, and as a result, they kind of couldn't retreat or cycle when they really needed to. So I feel like SunClan might have messed up there. I don't know what they were predicting. I don't know what they were going for. But it kind of just gave a free 2 prize points to Squad Zero. And Squad Zero is taking full advantage of it. They're just happily taking full advantage of the situation. Now, SunClan has probably realized at this point that they're not going to win. But they're going to keep trying. You know, this is a very serious match. And you always go for the win whenever you can. Worst case scenario, right? You kind of learn what your opponent's got. So they're going to play it out. They're going to see if they can find some way to get around these birds. Ultimately, though, I don't think they can. I don't think they can. I think that Darkrai going down was a death sentence for this deck. But what's interesting is that's not even bad for SunClan. SunClan is still winning. Yeah. Despite dropping this game, despite the score likely about to be updated to 2-2, SunClan is winning. The reason is, when Yosh is defeated, presumably, and I don't even know that's going to happen, maybe they'll find a way to come back. I mean, this is Global Gym Battles. We've seen weirder comebacks. We have. And they got Poison Barb, too, with Nihilego on the field. It's possible. It's possible. But either way, even if SunClan goes down here, they get to bring in a new player. So they get to counterpick the Arikario deck. Gee, is there some meta deck that is fantastically good against Arikario? Does it rhyme with Wilvely? Or Gripe Full? I don't know. Maybe? Yeah, I mean, just take your pick. Any Silvally deck eats Arikario for breakfast. So, I'm thinking that even if SunClan loses here, they have an endless panacea of options with which to bring forward to take the next game and maintain their lead. That's the power of a team battle, right? Your teammate goes down, but they pass you the baton and set you up for victory. So, you know, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Squad Zero still needs to close out this game. And that Poison Barb is looking really scary. Squad Zero chooses not to attack. It's not over. You thought this was over? I told you it wasn't over. No. You see, Squad Zero with Poison Barb plus Nihilego would do 40 cyclical damage to Arikario, plus Darkrai Poke is 60 damage. What's Arikario's health? It's 60. If Arikario had attacked there, it would be done. It would be knocked out. And then Squad Zero would be vulnerable to Sabrina's poking at its back line, and we know they're running Sabrina's. We know that deck is running Sabrina's. We've seen it. So Squad Zero could not attack there. They couldn't risk it. That being said, they do have a win con, a very slow win con on the table, right? They've got the Greninja poking down the Nihilego in the back. Once Nihilego goes down, Squad Zero will win. So SunClan really needs to fix that. Nah, they surrendered. They gave up. Yeah. GG. Good game. Alright, so Dark from Squad Zero does take the game, but we have to address the elephant in the room. Does it matter? Because now, Squad Zero is stuck using an Arikario deck, which is a good counterpick deck. We just saw it counterpick Giratina Darkrai, but a very bad deck to hold on to a winning position with. A very bad deck to let your opponent counterpick into. Arikario is a deck you want to save for kind of a little bit later, right? When your opponent has less options. And maybe they only have EX decks. And then you bring out Arikario, they're doomed. So having to play this early is bad for Squad Zero. They won the battle, but it could cost them the war. And they might not have had a choice. That's the advantage of having early wins at Global Gym Battle, right? So now SunClan has got to bring out their next player. Let me just update the score text to show that Game 4 has been won by Dark from Squad Zero. Alright, while they're searching, I'm just going to check chat real quick, see if anybody's saying hi. I could just let it play out. Hey, Italian Psyduck, how are you? Ikusas, how are you doing? Excalibur, unfortunately, I'm too far into the future / the past, so I'm not sure what you meant by letting it play out. Alright, it doesn't seem like there are any questions in the comments, so we're going to go back into Game 5. The score is tied. But make no mistake, SunClan has the initiative, right? They're bringing in a new player. We don't know who it is yet. Zesty has been defeated. Yosh has been defeated. Each team has one player sent to the Shadow Realm apiece. You know, don't worry, they'll get them back later. Actually, they're back right now. I mean, they're in the comms, right? advising their next teammate on what to do. It's not like, you know, they've been, I don't know, sent to some shadowy alternative dimension, but they're in the graveyard, right? They can't play anymore, basically. So Sun Clan's got to bring out their next player. I'm looking at the Sun Clan icon. It's kind of giving me like Fire Force vibes. I don't know if that's what they're referencing. I kind of get the feeling that that's the reference, though. Oh, wait a minute. If Squad Zero is a Bleach reference and Sun Clan is a Fire Force reference, is that why they're rivals? They don't like the same anime? Is that what's going on here? Is that what's going on here? Even in the world of Pokemon, anime nerds will find a way to disagree. Those are both overrated anime. Hot take. Alright, so Squad Zero is just waiting for Sun Clan to bring out their next player, and it looks like they finally got it. The next player's coming out. I am rooting for Squad Zero, but I will confess I won't be too sad when this particular phone is no longer what I have to spectate. It is a little pixely. The war of Wi-Fi. Alright, Squad Zero is going up against some kind of electric energy. It looks like Sun Clan has electric energy too. Yeah, got the Pikachu cards. I would have expected Silvally. What are we looking at here? I thought they'd bring Silvally against this. There's a very obvious counter. I wonder why Sun Clan didn't bring Silvally to bear here. Huh. Now, although I cannot read that, I believe that Squad Zero is going second. Dein Gegner ist zuerst. Yeah, I don't know what that says. This is always, oh yeah, it is Silvally, okay. Alright, they're running an electric Silvally deck. That makes sense. So yeah, I think Sun Clan is probably running the Zoroa, type null deck, possibly with or without Oricarios. I've seen both. And this is actually really clever, because if that's the type null Silvally with Oricario Zoroa version, that's probably not only good against Squad Zero's current deck, but just you know, theorizing, if Squad Zero has like a really strong EX deck in the back, it could also counter that too. So this is a really smart counter pick from Sun Clan. And they got a really good opening. You always want to get the Zoroa on turn 1 if you can, so it gets that free energy. Really nice. Really nice from Squad Zero. Sorry, from Sun Clan. They kind of got everything they needed right there. And meanwhile, Squad Zero is a little bit stuck. I mean, you can't really beat Silvally with this deck. You kind of can't. This is what I was saying, you know, it's a little early to be using Oricario, especially in a Silvally meta. They had to have known. Squad Zero had to have known that this would be the result. I knew it. The second I saw it, I said this is going to get countered by Silvally next match. I knew it. Squad Zero had to have known. So, I hope that they had some kind of greater strategy in mind. Otherwise, they're just going to get ruffle stomped here. Oh, and there's the Dawn. This is the cool play that you can make if all the stars align with the Zoroa Silvally, right? You play Dawn, and then even if you went first, you still get to attack with Silvally on your second turn. It's a very savage combo. Just wipe to that Oricario right out. But honestly, I'm not even sure if it mattered. I don't think there's anything Squad Zero can do to win this matchup. You just don't have the tools for it. It's not happening. Sun Clan picked a very good counter deck. I mean, yeah, this is the risk of running Oricario Greninja in an age of Silvallies. It's like you're running a guppy in a Shark Tank. Yeah, okay. You know, you can eat a bite of fish food. You know, you can have a nice free win, free-ish. You still had they still almost bricked, but a nice likely win against Giratina Darkrai. But you're gonna run into this. You're gonna run into this, and this is what I was saying about winning the battle but losing the war, right? This is what I was talking about. They won the battle, but I'm feeling for the war here. Hold on, my audio is being weird. Let me just make sure it's picking up the right microphone. Yeah, it is. Okay. Ah, yeah, this is looking awkward for Squad Zero. And that's the thing about global gym battles, right? It's not about the one game. It's about the overall games. It's about I take your Giratina Darkrai deck, but in doing so, I expose my Ricorio deck. Well, I'll counter that with my Type Null deck. I really hope Squad Zero has got something to deal with Silvally in the back. You know, if you're running this, which is obviously and really vulnerable to Silvally, I really hope whatever the heck they're running behind this, whatever the heck Dark has as their second deck, can counter Silvally, or they're just kind of cooked. I'm talking as if the game is over, but I'm sorry. I can't pretend that Squad Zero has a chance here. I mean, we've seen Squad Zero come back from some crazy things. We have. We've seen them come back from games, and I was like, this is done. They're done. It's over. Call home. Ask for a ride. You know, it's done. But it's possible. But I can't see how. I can't see how. Can anyone see how? How can Squad Zero come back from this? It's like, I think what they're doing right now is just a fishing expedition. Just like, all right, we've lost this. Let's see what's in their deck. Right? Let's get them to play their tech. Let's use Looker's investigation, figure out what their supporter cards are, right? But this is just a one-sided slaughter. This is the mighty Proto Arceus just tearing through the frogs and pom-pom birds without mercy. That's a nice rare candy. A nice and well-needed rare candy. Could this be how Squad Zero comes back? Could this be it? Greninja's online. Greninja can tank a Silvally hit. It can. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We've seen Squad Zero pull it off before. I'm a little sus of this, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. Let's see if the Mighty Ninja Frog can save this for Squad Zero. I hope Squad Zero wins this whole thing. It gets the prize money and uses it to help Dark get better internet. Alright, they got a little bit of a choice here. But oh, they're going for the Type Null in the back. Yeah, that makes sense, because you do 60 damage to the Silvally in front of you. 60 takes it out next turn. So you kind of want to start doing work on the one in the back. Get it in range. That makes sense. I could see that. I could see that. Now, one of the weaknesses to the kind of Zoroa version that we've been seeing so far is it doesn't carry necessarily as many supporters. But it still carries a lot of supporters. I mean, Zoroa doesn't take up that much space. So, or we're going to see Silvally get the 100 damage, putting Greninja on notice, and unfortunately, Squad Zero does not draw Irida. They really wanted Irida there. Even Irida probably wouldn't have saved them, but at least it would have tried. What do you do? Right, what do you do? It's looking pretty cooked, I gotta say. It's looking pretty cooked. I mean, I predicted the outcome of this battle at the start of the previous battle. The second I saw this going into Giratina, I said, this is getting wrecked by Silvally. Next game. That's what's happening. So, the outcome was not in doubt. But remember, it's about the war, not the battle. This is what I keep getting back to. This is a team game, right? Those scores on the left side of the screen. Porygon, stop! Porygon, what are you doing? Porygon's a digital Pokemon that's very pixely, and so Porygon, please, please let us view this in higher resolution. Oh, oh. This is I feel so bad for Squad Zero. They're getting wrecked on the game. They're getting wrecked on the internet in every possible way. Sun Clan is kicking butt. But it's close. It's close. And thankfully, that is the end of that very painful match. And hopefully we'll see Squad Zero come back. I really, really have faith in Squad Zero. I think they're one of the best teams in Global Gym Battles. They're definitely among the best teams. I think they're definitely going to be in the final tournament, you know, and they have the potential to go all the way. But I don't understand why they picked that Oricorio deck so early on. I feel like it was just too early. All right, this is looking good. This is looking good. This is something that can fight Silvally. This is something that can fight Silvally. Yeah, I approve. I approve. Let me just update the scores. So, Sun Clan, to no one's surprise, is now at 3 points, with Squad Zero only at 2. Dark has lost their first deck. And now things get interesting. Now things get very interesting. Oh, who's their opponent, actually? It's not Yoshi anymore. Magikarp! Yo, it's Magikarp! Magikarp from Sun Clan! Ah, the pixels. That's a Zoroa. That's a Zoroa. Alright, I am rooting for Dark to win this game. I am. But I must admit, when I can spectate a less pixely phone, I will be a little bit happier. But I am rooting for Dark here. Squad Zero, come on, make a comeback. You got this. Alright, so Sun Clan is going for a very interesting turn 1. They could have put the Zoroa in the back, but chose not to. And Dark is unfortunately a little bit bricked. They're starting with Buzzhole, which is a worst case scenario. Absolute travesty. Last thing you want. I don't know what else to say. That's not good luck. That's not good luck. It's looking pretty bad for Squad Zero. Squad Zero usually has good luck at the start of these, and then the luck kind of catches up with them towards the end. But right now, they're bricking. They're bricking hard. I mean, this is oof. Starting Buzzhole, no Celesteela. You're just gonna get smacked by an early Zoroa. And this is the thing, Sun Clan's gotten Zoroa every single time. They've gotten Zoroa early in their openings both games for the free energy. That's not guaranteed. It's not even extraordinarily likely. So, you know, the luck is definitely on the side of Sun Clan right now, but I do think that Squad Zero might have made an interesting, questionable choice with that Oricorio pick into the Giratina Darkrai. I think it was too soon. I think it was just a little too soon. Alright, they do have Formosa, but without Celesteela, they have no way to retreat it. So yeah, they're just powering up that Bug Buzz. That big beat, that Buzzwole. That's the name of that card that I have used so many times and still can't remember. Buzzwole. They're just chucking energy on it, you know, using Erica to keep it alive. Hopefully next turn, you know, they go for big beat, wipe out the Zoroa. It's a respectable attempt. I mean, they're struggling a little bit. They're just trying to get back in this game. It's a little bit bricked. You don't want to start Buzzhole with this deck. That's not how you like to start. There's not much they can do. There's not much to say. Well, one thing though, Squad Zero isn't playing red card. I'm not sure. Ooh, that was spicy. You see that? That's the Squad Zero I like to watch. Ooh, you see that? That was spicy. They dumped all of their energy to retreat Buzzwole. But then they got Sabrina. I feel bad. I feel bad. They didn't deserve that. They didn't deserve getting Sabrina there. Maybe they did, though. Squad Zero could have played red card and chose not to, but that might have been a calculation based on the number of Oaks and Pokeballs we've seen so far. That might have been a reasonable lack of red card. But because they didn't play red card, Sabrina was much more likely. Because their opponent had, the 4 cards in hand. And even if you force them into Oak, they're not playing Sabrina. So you'd be safe against that. So that was arguably an error by Squad Zero last turn. Because, they went for this creative play, right? Dumping the energy and then retrieving it with Lusamine next turn, possibly. But unfortunately, they didn't play red card. And they kind of needed to play that red card last turn. They're playing it now, but a little bit late. A little bit late. Honestly, I don't know if I would have played it now. Because now you kind of want to, Lusamine tech maybe. Actually, they can't play Lusamine. Why can't they play Lusamine? What supporter did they play this turn? I think I missed it. Either way, this is a little bit tough for Squad Zero. I feel like they're fumbling a little bit. Or maybe SunClan's just playing really, really well. We've seen SunClan is savage with those Sabrinas. Those Sabrinas have been devastating, doing so much work and just kind of messing up Squad Zero's overall strategies and tactics. They've had some well-timed Sabrinas, I will say. There's the Pokeball, and probably the reason that SunClan was hesitating on red card that earlier turn. But the thing is, the same problem exists now. I think they should have played it a turn sooner if they were going to pull that with Buzzwole. It's hard to know, though, right? I don't think we necessarily saw that Sabrina last game. So maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know SunClan had it. Maybe they were betting they didn't have it in hand if they did know. I don't know. Ooh, that was laggy. Alright, so Celesteela is coming online, but Buzzwole has just taken so much damage. Such a beating. There's no energy on the field on behalf of Squad Zero. This is pretty brutal. This is pretty brutal, I gotta say. SunClan is doing really well. I'd say Squad Zero's gotten a little bit unlucky with the bricks, but I do feel like I can't say anything bad about SunClan's decisions. I do have some questions about a few of Squad Zero's decisions so far. Obviously, I'm rooting for Squad Zero, but I gotta be fair as a commentator here. I do feel like SunClan, even though they got a little bit luckier, definitely, no question, is also playing just a little bit better, I think. But we'll see how it goes. This is just the opening shots. This is the initial volleys. Both teams kind of getting a feel for each other, eliminating the early decks, playing around each other. It's really going to spice up in the mid-game, but Squad Zero needs to not go into the mid-game with a 2-3 game deficit. It's catchable. We've seen teams catch it before. We've seen Squad Zero on a 3-game runaway get taken out. It happens. But you don't want it to happen. Squad Zero really needs to win this game, or they're going to be a full player behind. Oricorio comes out. That's extra immunity to the Buzzwole now. It's not looking good. It is not looking good for Squad Zero right here. This is, Kaguran. I like that. It's a good name for Celesteela. Kaguran. Yeah. The Buzzwole's just a sitting duck. Gets taken out by Zoroa. That's 2 prize points for Magikarp. And it looks like Squad Zero is going for the Moonbaton here. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Can Moonbaton save the day? Can Moonbaton be the hero we all needed to be? Yeah, I mean, this is the only play. This is the only play Squad Zero can make. The only one I see at any rate. They still haven't KO'd a single Pokemon. Moonbaton! Awesome! Celesteela launches its interstellar cannons, obliterating Zorua and giving Dark their first prize point. But Silvally has just enough health to be able to survive a Moonbaton, and it deals quite a bit of damage. And remember, SunClan only needs one more prize point to take the game. Gladion is played, it doesn't seem to do anything, which means that Silvally is likely already in SunClan's hand. And that's critical, because there's this... I don't know if you know about this. I put out a video about this. There's this weird interaction where if you play both your Silvallys, you can no longer play Gladion. It won't let you play it. But even if you have it in your hand, you can still play it. So well played on SunClan for recognizing that, holding back that Silvally, just to make sure that they could play Gladion as a supporter card to give 50 damage to the active Silvally. That's a good move. That's a move from someone who really understands the Silvally deck and knows the little tiny quirks of it. So well played by SunClan there. Definitely good play. Alright, Squad Zero is they're struggling. I gotta be honest, they're struggling. One thing they could do is they could go into Formosa and just kind of hope that SunClan doesn't have any more supporter cards. Damage it, and then get it in range of Moonbaton. Though I don't know when you would be able to play Moonbaton unless you draw another Lusamine. It's looking rough for Squad Zero, but they're making best attempt. Best plays. They're doing everything they can to stay in the game and try to claw back that win, because they really don't want to be 2 games behind. That's a full player. 2 games is a full player. A full eliminated player on your team behind your opponent. That's brutal. Nobody wants that. But the mighty Silvally takes out that Formosa, and SunClan takes the game. Oh, that's brutal. SunClan is playing very well. And not just the battles, not just the games. I mean, their Sabrinas are on point. Their red cards are on point. I'm not sure if I can say the same for Squad Zero. We saw them delay red card while using, at the same time, a strategy that would have preferred you to play red card. It was a tough decision. Like, they probably would have given their opponent Oak or Pokeball had they played red card that initial turn. But I feel like they made themselves so vulnerable to Sabrina, and then didn't make a move that could have stopped Sabrina, right? It was like half of a big brain play. But half of a big brain is still not a brain. You need both halves of the big brain, right? Going for the retreat with the Lusamine thing could have been cool, but maybe that red card could have helped. And maybe not. Maybe red card would have made it worse. I don't know. All right, let me give Magikarp credit for that game. And now Squad Zero has got to decide who to send in next, right? Because Magikarp has just swept Dark off the field. Just swept Dark right off the field. Dark has been sent to the Shadow Realm. And Squad Zero needs to pick someone to go into Magikarp. And they don't even know what Magikarp's second deck is. They don't even know what Magikarp's second deck is. That Silvally deck has trounced everything so far. Everything. It hasn't been beaten. Magikarp is on fire. SunClan is on fire. I guess it makes sense because they're in the sun. Let me take a look at the chat real quick to see what people are saying. Team B will prevail. I don't know which team Team B is, but good luck, Team B. Check Twitch. Alright, Squad Zero is deciding who to bring out next. Right, who to kind of send forward next against SunClan. But I gotta say, it's looking pretty good for the SunClan. It's looking pretty good. I feel like they came prepared with the right decks, the right strategies. And Squad Zero is clearly struggling a little bit. You know, this is definitely not the peak of their play. I've seen Squad Zero do much better than this. And they've been a little unlucky too. I mean, that's worth acknowledging, you know. They got bricked with that buzz hole. That was unfortunate. Ooh, have they chosen the next player going forward? Goons! It's Goons! Oh, heck yeah. I love watching Goons. The player has been chosen. And it's Goons from Squad Zero. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Goons is good. Goons is good. Everybody on Squad Zero is good. I mean, you got Zesty, who's kind of like, you know, a little bit of an organizer, you know, keeping everybody together. You got Dark, who's a very solid tournament player. You know, everybody in Squad Zero is a very good player. Goons is kind of like one of the anchors, right? Goons comes in to save the game when things are rough. You know, that's what Goons is. That's their job. That's their job. So Goons is gonna come in and fix this for Squad Zero. Bringing it in. Bringing it in. Let's go, Goons. Oh, I wanna. Yeah, Bulbasaur's too far out of reach. I just want my Bulbasaur, but I can't reach it. Ah! Headphones fell out. Yeah. Ugh. By the way, this is the correct way to put a hat on a Bulbasaur. You just put the hat on the bulb. Originally, I tried putting the hat on the head, but it doesn't quite work. Oh, wait, we're leaking comms. What's going on here? Alright. Yeah, they're figuring something out. You see, the problem is, if you put the hat on the head, like, one of the ears is kind of... It just doesn't work. You can put, like, sideways, but that still doesn't work, right? Because you can't really get the ears. The ears are a little tricky. You know, that's stylish. That's stylish. That's not bad. But I've just taken to putting the hat on the bulb. And I think that works pretty well. I really like my sleeping Bulbasaur. It's very cute. Let's just check in with Squad Zero, see what's going on here. Alright, it looks like they're searching again. What deck is Goons gonna bring out to try to save this? I mean, you're up against a Silvally deck. The best thing to beat a Silvally deck with is another Silvally deck. Let's be real. Silvally counter Silvally. If you need to defeat Silvally, you should use Silvally. Buzzhole, in theory, I think the modern Kartana version of the Buzzhole deck can beat Silvally decks. Some versions of them at least, but I don't know. I think Silvally is the best counter for Silvally. I mean, can you think of a single deck right now that's strictly better than Silvally all the time? Buzzhole, maybe. Maybe. There are certain versions of it that maybe. But then you just use Silvally Charizard. Right? I don't know. And I feel like Silvally still wins that. Close to 50% of the time. Alright, let me just squat my Bulbasaur back up there. Yeah. Alright. A little tricky. There we go. Nice. No! That didn't go well. Alright, we're into the next game. Alright. Bulbasaur used Tackle. Alright, so Silvally versus Silvally. Squad Zero's doing their absolute best to try to resolve this situation. Yeah, they gotta go first, though. Which is, how shall we say, bad. You don't want to go first in a Silvally deck. You don't want to go first in a Silvally mirror. Going first means that you get Silvally to attack last. Not so good. Not so good. We see an early Oak is played that sets them up to be very vulnerable to like a red card or something along those lines. And Squad Zero, you know, they're trying to figure out whether they want to play that fossil. Cranidos would be really nice, right? Cranidos would be lovely in this deck, but you play the fossil, you're vulnerable to Sabrina now. They're gonna risk it. And I think that's the right move. I mean, you're already vulnerable to red card. If you get red carded, that's a lot of cards that are going away. You kind of want to play down everything you can. An early fossil's really good. I think it's worth the risk. You're going first. You don't have the best situation. You got to take some risks. That's how I see it. Oak is also played on behalf of the Sun Clan, and they also get a Pokeball. I gotta say, Sun Clan has been a little bit luckier. This is the kind of luck we usually see from like Squad Zero early on, but now Sun Clan has stolen their luck. Double type null, decent start. No Zoroa though. No Zoroa this time. So they won't get that early energy advantage that you only get if you get Zoroa on your first turn, and it doesn't look like they have that. But they do get to go second in the Silvally Mirror. So still looking pretty good for Sun Clan. We'll see what type null can do here. And one of the big advantages of playing type null is that it's the best card in the game. Why wouldn't you want to play the best card in the game? Ooh, Oricorio. Yeah, I can see why they were hesitating to play that. Oricorio's not really helpful in this matchup. Oh, that was a heavy heads. That was a heavy heads. And Squad Zero's had a bit of a loss here. Yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, KO is being threatened, right? If it's gonna go down anyway, evolving it is the right answer. Because yeah, if Sun Clan does evolve their type null into Silvally, then Squad Zero definitely wants to bring out their own Silvally. Even so, because you can tank it if it can only do 50 damage, for example. Yeah, and if they're gonna knock it out anyway, well, you've got nothing to lose. I mean, the Silvally is a dead card in hand. That's, you know, red card fodder. So I would evolve. I would evolve. They're clearly talking about it, probably thinking about everything I just said. Do it! No! But put it... Dude... You need to take that Silvally, put it over there. There we go. Okay. Okay. I was having some questions. I was having some questions. Goons, come on. Goons. We're counting on you, Goons. Yes, as getting to go for a second in the Silvally matchup is really nice. Because going second is first energy. So you're really going first when you're going second. That makes sense. So Sun Clan's in a great spot. But they need Silvally right now. If they get Silvally and a supporter card, they wipe out that Silvally and are basically tremendously winning. In theory. That was so bad for Squad Zero. Oh, I can't even. That was so bad for Squad Zero. That Mars just took away their Rampardos. It took away their Rampardos. If Rampardos had gone in that turn, it would have knocked out Silvally, and there would have been nothing to hit it next turn. So it would have picked up 2 KOs at least. Minimum. Minimum of 2 KOs. They need to draw it back. They need to draw it back. I mean, one thing we could see. Maybe they don't risk the Oak. Maybe they play Sabrina instead. But... Yes! Yes! Heart of the cards. Finally, that's Goons right there. Heart of the cards. Dark taking one for the team, absorbing all that bad luck, so that now Squad Zero can have a little good luck. Head Smash goes down. That's going to obliterate the fake Arceus, and the mighty Rock Dino of Justice has taken the first prize point for Goons. Is this a comeback? Do I smell a comeback? Yeah, they bring Oricorio forward. I don't know if that's gonna matter. I don't know if that's gonna matter. You know, Squad Zero's got a plan. Zora gets dropped onto the field. That's actually very important because it stops Sabrina from being able to pick off type Null. And we see Gladion get played. That's guaranteeing that Silvally will be active. There it is, immediately played, and it's powered up. It looks like SunClan has just fixed all of their problems, and Squad Zero can't even attack this turn. Yeah, if Squad Zero attacks, they immediately lose. I was excited for a second there, but SunClan with a Zoroa. And, you know, I like running that deck without the Zoroa. I like just using the Oricorio. But I gotta say, in this situation, the Zoroa really saved them from the Sabrina. It really, really did. Because if Sabrina went off here, it would have just been GG, but... yeah, SunClan's doing well. SunClan's doing well. Even the mighty Dino just can't compete. And that's one of the risks of the Rampardos version of the Silvally deck. It has fewer Pokemon than the Zora Oricorio version. You use a lot more cards, right? Because you need the fossils and the rare candies and the final Dino form. So that's fewer cards that you have. One could make the argument that even with the super effective Cranidos, the Oricorio deck might be even-ish with this. Oh, Squad Zero is so bricked. That's game. That's game. There's nothing they can do. They're completely bricked. I thought maybe they got their luck back with that draw, but... that's... oh. Yeah, I mean, you could play Sabrina, and I see the nudge, like Goons is saying, maybe they'll make a mistake. Maybe they'll give a Silvally. You never know. The funny thing is, even if they do, it doesn't matter because Oricorio KOs you after the recoil. It doesn't... even if they did give Silvally, it wouldn't matter. Squad Zero is about to be -3. I've never seen them this far behind. I've never seen this before, but Squad Zero, they can't attack, yeah. That was actually really clever. That was actually really clever, because by forcing the Sabrina swap to Zoroa, they were able to buy another turn. That was big brain. That was big brain. Silvally can't attack unless they have Dawn. And their big brain play was undone once again. This is SunClan being very scary. Every time Squad Zero does something really smart, SunClan plays a card that just undoes it. I don't know if it's luck, skill, or deck building, but every single time Squad Zero pulls out the big brain plays, SunClan just Uno reverses it. Alright, that is going to be one of Goons' 2 life points taken out. And Magikarp continues the vicious and unrelenting sweep of Squad Zero. I've never seen this before. I've never, ever, ever seen Squad Zero struggle this much before. It's brutal. It's... oh... the humanity. The humanity. The inhumanity of it all. The Pokemonity, I guess. Wait, let me fix Bulbasaur while we're queuing for the next game. Bulbasaur, no, I got you. All right. No! The game's starting. Bulbasaur just can't bear to watch. Bulbasaur is obviously a huge Squad Zero fan and can't bear to watch. All right. All right, so Squad Zero's got a much better opening this time. They do have to go first again, which stinks. You know, you don't want to go first in this matchup. It's and I don't know if they've used a replay or if they're literally just running two Silvalies. But either way, Squad Zero, better start, but still not the best start. You know, you still want to go second. That's really big. There's no Silvalies, and SunClan gets a double Thunderclap flash. Zoroas are like, boom, turn one, give me that energy. Just like a lightning bolt strikes and appears in its energy inventory. Yeah, Squad Zero played a Pokeball, but it did nothing because they've got their Pokemon, so a little bit awkward. Definitely. I mean, the only question is, do you play Mars? And the hesitation there is that SunClan has shown that they don't have type null. If you play Mars, you might give them type null. But on the other hand, they got 5 cards in their hand right now. Do you want to let them have that much power? What are they playing that's not type null, right? I can see saving the Mars here just because, yeah, they're thinking about it. They're obviously doing the math, right? Like, what do they have in their hand? What do they have? I can respect not playing Mars here. I think not playing Mars here is reasonable. Good. That heads mattered. That heads mattered. Because of that heads, there's potentially a Giovanni plus heads KO next turn with just type null. So that heads made a difference. Oricorio is played. I have to say that it's not like completely bricked for SunClan, but that's not great either. You really want type null in this deck, and I think Squad Zero made the right call not playing Mars, because by not playing Mars, you force that Oricorio to happen, right? If they had played Mars, we could have seen a Pokeball into a type null, an Oak into a type null, just a type null into a type null. But now there are no type nulls. SunClan is so smart. So smart. They're like, all right, you're going to let us keep our cards, we're going to play them. That stops the Giovanni plus heads KO. Just stops it cold. Yeah, I mean, obvious play is obvious here. You evolve the Rampardos, no question. And now it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky. You could burn your energy and retreat. They didn't even consider it. One crazy thing there you could have done is burn your energy and retreat into Rampardos, but they just weren't doing it. It's a tough spot for Squad Zero. They are struggling to deal with the Zoroa Oricorio deck. They're struggling. And part of the problem is that they're really not drawing Silvally, which is weird. I mean, I've run so many type null decks, and my luck is awful. But I usually get Silvally. Ooh, the Oak. It's unfortunate. It's good, obviously, but in this situation, you kind of wanted to justify Rampardos going in instead of type null. So if you're gonna draw type null, it would have been better. Sorry, if you're gonna draw Silvally, it would have been better if you would put the type null in. Because then Silvally could start sweeping. Because Rampardos is a better finisher. Okay, there's no type null. Not this turn anyway, so Rampardos was the right choice. And it's just gonna smash its head against that Lightning Wizard. The Lightning Wizard was no match for the mighty Rampardos. Rampardos will take some very serious recoil, and that recoil means that it's going to self-KO if it knocks anything else out. So we're probably going to see a 2 prize point apiece tie come in pretty soon. I'm guessing Zoroa has less health, I think. Zoroa is going to come in. Rick Rio. No, Zora has more health. What am I saying? Yeah, Zora has lots of health. 90 health. Wow, it has 90 health. I didn't know it had so much health. That's wild. It has 90 health? It's 90 health. And I guess it also makes sense to kind of put the Zora forward because it has more energy. It could Dawn Pass, do more crazy things. 90 health. Wow, I didn't realize it had 90 health. That's a lot. That's a lot of health. It's a lot of health. A lot of lions. All right. Sun Clan is just... Oh, yeah, they're going for the Dawn Pass. Okay, yeah. I was confused a second there, because you still want to attack Rampardos this turn, so that it KOs itself, so that you can attack next turn. Yeah, so this puts Squad Zero in a bit of a tough spot. Because Rampardos kind of has to attack now. There's really no way around that. And then it'll knock itself out. And then if Sun Clan goes full Silvally mode, their Silvally eats your Silvally. So I think if you're Squad Zero, you've got one play here. You've got one play, right? Gladion into Silvally, or Oak into Silvally, whichever is the better odds. I don't know how many cards are left in their deck. Evolve into Silvally. Power it up. Self-KO your Rampardos. Let their Silvally hit your Silvally for 100. Giovanni Silvally hit their Silvally for 110. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're doing. They got the Silvally. Okay. Good. They're doing exactly what I said. I know this deck so well. I know this deck so well. Energy, attack. That's it. That's their only play. That's how you win. And you have to hope that they can't mess with you. You just have to hope that there's no Mars, no red card, no Giovanni on their side. I mean, credit to Sun Clan, running Mars and red card together is so scary. It's risky because red card is a potentially useless card. And ironically, the less luck you have, the worse red card is. Because if your opponent can play, red card isn't that good. But if your opponent is storing a lot... What did I say? Draw Giovanni or you lose. Draw Giovanni or you lose. Draw Giovanni. No! Oh, goons. Oh, goons. This is a sweep. This is a slaughter. Oh, I haven't seen anything like this since the Jewel of Time. So... Sun Clan is 4 up against Squad Zero. Squad Zero just cannot catch a break. And one of the big reasons for this is, first of all, Squad Zero can't seem to go second in the Silvally mirror. But second, Sun Clan has been playing Mars and red card to great effect. Like, we've seen it in almost every one of their decks. They have a lot of Mars, a lot of red card, and they play them at the perfect time. The perfect time. Sun Clan is like, oh, right now is the critical turn? Mars, red card. Like, they use Sabrina as a harassment tool instead of as a KO tool. Such good positional play. Sun Clan is playing really well. Sun Clan is playing really well. And Squad Zero is just not getting what they need. They're just absolutely not pulling what they need to make this happen. All right, well with Sun Clan four decks ahead, Squad Zero is in such a bad spot. Let me break this down for you to explain how bad this is. Every single deck, every single point on the screen is a deck that's gone. Every single 2 points is a player that's gone. Squad Zero only has 2 players left into SunClan's 8. They only have 4 decks left. Sorry. Yes, 4 decks left into SunClan's 8 decks. SunClan is going to be able to counterpick every single deck that Squad Zero brings forward multiple times. Multiple times! And the worst part is, as we've clearly seen, you can't really counterpick Silvally anyway. So unless Squad Zero has, like, 4 Silvallies remaining, I don't know. I don't know how they could come back here. It looks like Magikarp is just on a runaway victory. The little fish has evolved into a Gyarados. You know what? I'm gonna change their name. This is not SunClan Magikarp. This is SunClan Gyarados. We have fun on these streams. We have fun. Alright, then the next player has been chosen for Squad Zero, it looks like. And it is Volume. No. Sussy! Alright, it's Sussy from Squad Zero. We know who the imposter is already, don't we? Well, Squad Zero once again going first. It's not a Silvally deck, but you still don't want your opponent's Silvally to go first. SunClan gets to keep going second again and again and again. It's too good. It's too good. Alright, at least this time Squad Zero finally has a Celesteela to go with their Buzzhole. They were just bricked on Buzzhole last time, but now maybe they have a chance. Hopefully. Their hand isn't that great. You really want like a lot more basics to start off with. Basics and healing items. Like the Goose, that's not so useful right now. Cyrus, useless right now. Cape. What are you going to put a cape on? Lusamine? It's too early for these cards. It's too early for these cards. Yeah, Sussy from Squad Zero has drawn kind of all their late game cards in the beginning of the game. It's gonna be tough. I mean, that pom-pom bird is cheering, SunClan, SunClan, and it's gonna punch that, like, interstellar dimensional balloon thing right out of the sky. Oh, but Sussy has the answer for that. The great big Giga Cannon switches into Kartana, and the world's most powerful paper cut attacks. 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 Attack already! What are you waiting for? I can wait. Just check the time there on my invisible wristwatch. I can wait. Alright, so they were deciding whether or not to put Cape on there. I think the logic is they were afraid of Giovanni plus maybe a 50 damage attack, so that's reasonable. That's actually a reasonable thing to decide. Because, yeah, if you're running a Silvally deck, it probably has Giovanni. You gotta watch out for those breakpoints. Good Cape. Good Cape. It was worth waiting for that Cape. You know, Kartana just at the tailors, the tailor being like, I'd like to measure you, but you're already paper. And it feels weird putting my measuring tape against paper. I don't know what I just said either. So, SunClan is actually being very threatened by this Kartana. I mean, being able to output 40 damage early into like a Rikurio's Aurora, very scary. Lots of damage potential there. And if they can get rid of the Ricurio, that lets Buzzhole come online and start KOing everything else. Good Poke Center, lady. SunClan is vicious with these. Just vicious with these Poke Center ladies. I mean, they just come online right when you least want them to. It's like SunClan just has whatever they need in their hand to solve the problem. they're either crazy lucky or they build really good decks, or maybe both. But it always feels like SunClan just has what they need. And Oricorio switches out to put an extra layer of protection on it, which is very smart because Buzzhole can't deal with it. Right? Buzzhole can't do any damage to Oricorio. We could potentially see something like a Cyrus into the Oricorio. The problem is it won't KO. So, what does Squad Zero do? They're kind of stuck. SunClan's just kind of got them pinned, right? I mean, what do you do? I don't know. You attack, you go down. You Cyrus, you go down next turn. Go into the big balloon? Maybe. I don't know. What do you do in this situation? I'm actually curious to see what Squad Zero decides. Huh? I need to shave, clearly. What? I don't know what that does. I'm a little confused. Because why would you dump your Cyrus on not KOing Oricorio? Why? And SunClan fell for the bait? SunClan took the bait? What? Let me think about this. Okay, I think SunClan was worried about Formosa possibly coming in. And that might have been Squad Zero's plan too. Okay. I'm the idiot. I'm the idiot this time. No, they were right. Everybody else was right, and I'm being a dummy. So, that put Oricorio in range of Formosa. SunClan recognized this and decided that they might as well sacrifice it now rather than lose it to Formosa later. SunClan was putting it in range of Formosa. I'm still not sure if that was the right move on SunClan's part. Sorry, on Squad Zero's part, but I think SunClan played it correctly. Either way. And Squad Zero might have also played it correctly. So much analytics. Too much math. Let's talk about the Pokemon. But first, Squad Zero needs to decide if they're playing Professor's Research, if maybe we can research these Ultra Beasts, get us a new one. Maybe research a little Formosa could be good. Or if Lusamine is going to come in and be like, ha, I'm obsessed with Nihilego, but I will allow your Celesteela to get one more energy. Nope, it looks like it's Oak. We got the Formosa, there it is. So everyone else was right. The Cyrus was a good play. I'm a dummy. Formosa comes in, and it's going to pick off the Oricorio, which will allow Buzzhole to come online now that that bird is gone. Well played to Squad Zero. You've outsmarted the caster. If you're outsmarting the caster, yeah, that's the Squad Zero I know and love. It's been 8 games before you made me say I'm a dummy. Usually they do that way sooner. Usually it's like game 3, where I'm like, why'd they do that? Oh, that's why they did that. But yeah, no, it took you too long, Squad Zero. Welcome back. Welcome back, Squad Zero. Welcome back. All right, come back time. I'm feeling it now. This is gonna be Squad Zero coming back. Yeah, that Formosa. I don't know if you've ever seen Formosa in like the anime, the Pokemon anime, but it's like a puppet piloted by bugs. Not something I ever needed to see, by the way. I don't know why they made that choice. It's a choice. It's a creepy one, and I never want to see that again. Don't ever look at Formosa in the Pokemon anime. Just It's too creepy. Alright, a second Celesteela is interesting. That could allow, like, continuous cycling, potentially. I don't think there's necessarily enough... Yeah. I think they were thinking about potentially using Lusamine on Celesteela, and then going for a Moonbaton win right now. But they decided against it. They decided a 50% chance to win the game right now is dumb. Just play it safe, play it smart, eat your breakfast. I don't know. I'm surprised they're not Lucamining the Buzzhole immediately. Okay. Oh, yeah, retreat it to dump energy, and then that's clever. They deliberately retreated it instead of using Celesteela to discard the energy so that Lusamine would put one more energy on Buzzhole. That was so smart. That's the Squad Zero we know and love. Brilliant play. Brilliant. Did you see that? They deliberately retreated just to dump the energy so that Lusamine could pick it up. That was good. That was a play. All right, Sussy. Sussy coming back for Squad Zero. I don't know if it's enough. There's still 3 decks behind. But that was a good play. That was a good play. Game 9 goes to Sussy of Squad Zero. That was such a good play. Oh, wow. Yeah, the Cyrusing for the eventual Formosa, and then they had 2 Celesteelas on the field, but instead of using either one of them, they retreated to discard the energy to Lusamine. I can't get over that play. That was such a good play. Oh, that was such a good play. And that's Gyarados' first loss, I think. The player name is Magikarp, but after they got 4 freaking wins in a row, I changed their name to Gyarados. I'll change it back. But for now, all right, we can change it back to Magikarp now that they've lost a game. But they were just winning too much. Magikarp. All right, I've corrected their name. Well, Squad Zero is going first again. They're going first every single game. Every single game they're going first. They got a good hand this time, though. Good hand. And it seems to be a Buzzhole mirror. Got the Oak. Got lots of basics. This is looking a lot nicer for Squad Zero than some previous games. I'm not sure if you play the second Formosa or not in this position. It's a tough call. Yeah. It's a tough call. It's a thinker. I really gotta shave. It's been a weekend. Oh, scraggly. Now, there are 5 cards in SunClan's hand. 5 of them. Squad Zero has a red card. They don't play the red card. And to be fair, that's reasonable. Because they haven't shown any Oaks. They haven't shown any Pokeballs. But they did have that. That's not that bad, though. They still got Lusamine. They still have Pokeball. That's not so bad. But Squad Zero has now missed their chance for that red card. So, for better or worse. That being said, they're threatening GG next turn. So, if SunClan can't come up with another basic Pokemon, they're in trouble. Jump Blues goes off again. Not that it really does anything. I don't even know if that was the right move. Maybe you should have sacked Celesteela there, potentially, to keep Formosa online. Good Erica. That's going to keep the Buzzhole nice and healthy. And there's a bench Pokemon. That might have been in their hand the whole time. I think SunClan was like afraid of Sab or something. Yeah, so now Buzzhole is going to be able to come onto the field with a great big punch. Really big punch. This could be the end of Formosa as we know it. SunClan's thinking. They're strategizing. They've got a great big bug. It's like, rocketing into outer space, but they decide not to put energy on it, and instead to delete all the energy and full switch into Kartana and pick up the KO with Kartana. They've got Lusamine in their hand. They've got Lusamine in their hand. And Squad Zero does not have red card. That's the thing. I think arguably, even at the risk of giving them Pokeballs and Oaks, maybe it would have been better to have red carded that previous turn. It would have stopped them from getting Marsed. Yeah, SunClan played this very well. SunClan played this very well, because now you can Lusamine the Buzzhole and attack the Kartana, but then you're going to get Alpha Striked by their Buzzhole. And then what do you do? I don't know. They're just kind of stuck. I feel like SunClan just outplayed here. I feel like SunClan just outplayed. It's worth noting that SunClan seems to always get to go second, which is, a big advantage in Pokemon Pocket, but still, it does kind of feel like SunClan just played a little better. Yeah, Squad Zero is deciding where to put the energy. I don't think you put it on the front Celesteela. I think you put it on the back Celesteela if you're going to do that. Yeah, if you're going for Moombatons, I think we aim for the back Celesteela. Yeah, I mean, Magikarp has already picked up a prize point for SunClan. Oh my goodness. If Magikarp picks up a 5th win, I'm changing their name back to Gyarados. If Magikarp picks up another win, their name is becoming Gyarados again. I'm just saying. Formosa activates. Probably just going to be a cheap and easy Kartana attack here. Only real decision is where do we put the energy? The answer is Buzzhole. Just flick the energy onto Buzzhole. Attack with Kartana. They're thinking. And this is the thing about global gym battles. Nobody makes the obvious moves without thinking about it first. You want to always be looking for a better move if you've got one. I wonder what they're planning. They're really taking their time. Is there some kind of like Giga Brain insta-win on the table? I don't see it. SunClan, what are you doing? Retreat into Kartana? Retreat into Formosa? Why? Is there like a 2-turn Lusamine Cyrus available? I don't know. I feel like you do some kind of Moombaton shenanigans here at Squad Zero. It's risky, but your prize point down, you're damaged. You could get Cyrus out of your Buzzhole, and you have no pressure at all on your opponent. I don't know how you play this. Squad Zero's in a pinch. And I've been saying that a lot this set. But Squad Zero is in a pinch. Just like right inside. Right inside the pinch. Energy gets put on Celesteela and Lusamine goes down. Yeah. They're making the Moombaton play. I called it. It's kind of just what you got to do here. Hope for heads. Their luck has been pretty bad. I feel like they got this coming. RNGG. Squad Zero, they had to go first. I feel like if you have to go first, your first coin flip should be heads. I'm just saying. If you're forced to go first, your first coin flip should be heads. That's really rough for Squad Zero. That means Formosa can attack again, putting down even more damage. letting SunClan draw even more cards. We see the Pokeball peel from Squad Zero, but it doesn't really matter. They need to pick up some kills here. They need to pick up some KOs. You got that little slender bug. You're trying to defeat it with your space cannon, but it's just scurrying around. It's dodging you. It's really hard to hit things with your giant space cannon when you're aiming at a tiny bug. I mean, have you ever tried to hit a tiny bug from orbit with your space cannon before? It's not so easy. I'd say your odds are about, I don't know, a coin flip. Yeah, and the thing is, Squad Zero is kind of paralyzed because if they put their Buzzhole forward, it can just get Lusamine obliterated by the opposing Buzzhole at any time. They're kind of forced to fight with Moonbaton. I don't think there's any other choice. I think you just got to keep Moonbaton, and hope you hit. Come on, Squad Zero. You're running out of time. And I'm running out of vocal cords. Yeah. They go for it. This is not Squad Zero's day. They're just not getting the coin flips. They keep going first instead of second, which is worse. You want to go second. They're getting tails. And SunClan is playing really, really well. They could try again, but this is looking pretty bad. This is looking pretty rough. I'm not even sure what strategy you use. As Squad Zero, they got 0 prize points. Squad Zero has 0 prize points. They have no pressure right now. Yeah, those 2 tails were massive. You really need to remove this Formosa. Interesting. They go into their own Formosa. That's smart. That's smart. Putting their Buzzhole on notice. I like that. That's a good move. It's a very clever move. I see what they're doing. They might have found a way. They might have found a way to win this. Interesting. Interesting. They've activated Celesteela, but seem unsure of what they're bringing forward. Could this have been an error on behalf of SunClan? Did they activate it too soon? Buzzhole comes out, and they're fully aware that Buzzhole will be one-shot by Squad Zero's Buzzhole. This can only mean that they had Cyrus too. And now Squad Zero's Buzzhole is too low health. It's too low health to attack, or it'll go down, and then SunClan wins the game. Had a single one of those Moonbatons KO'd the Formosa, Squad Zero would have won. Right here. They could have Cyrused it if it didn't come out on its own. Like, one hits, Squad Zero would have won. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And now Squad Zero is going to be forced to dump Cyrus on Formosa. Otherwise, Formosa wins. There's no choice. You have to Cyrus Formosa here. And hope they don't have another one. That is brutal. That is brutal. All because Moonbaton kept missing. I feel for Squad Zero. They have not had the best of luck this set. Finally, Moonbaton goes off. A little bit late, though. Formosa goes down. Squad Zero can still win if the sky falls on Magikarp's phone. I don't know. Wow. What? Why would they bring out Buzzhole? Why is SunClan bringing out Buzzhole? What more shenanigans do they have for us? They got a second one. Ooh, lots of buzz holes. I mean, if SunClan is bringing out their damaged buzz hole, there's got to be a reason. They must have some kind of plan here. Do they have another Cyrus? Surely they don't have another Cyrus. No. No second Cyrus. Does Squad Zero have a second Cyrus? I gotta hope they do. I gotta hope they do. Otherwise, I don't see how they win this. This is automatically a loss for Squad Zero. And even if they did, it wouldn't matter. Because you can't Guzma and Cyrus in the same turn. I think that's game. I think that's game. Squad Zero should have won that game, all things being equal. They had basically 3 bad coin flips in a row. They had to go first, Moonbaton missed, and Moonbaton missed. If that hadn't happened, we could have, not guaranteed, but potentially have seen them make an earlier Cyrus play on the opposing buzz hole, taking it out after the Formosa harass, and winning the game. But that couldn't happen just because Moonbaton kept missing. Great game. I mean, SunClan played it very well. SunClan played the early stages very well, possibly even better than Squad Zero, I would say. But Squad Zero came back, made good plays, made smart plays, and I think they would have won if their luck was a little bit better. I don't know what you do here. I guess you... If Squad Zero has a second Cyrus, the correct answer is Guzma, and then stall, and then rotate, and try to snipe that backline buzzhole. Right? If you got a second Cyrus, that's what you do, but I don't think they have a second Cyrus. I rarely see Squad Zero running 2 Cyruses. They went for the goose. Maybe they do have a second Cyrus. Maybe they have it. Do they have a second Cyrus? I don't know. Do they have it? Cape is smart. It defends against red plus attack. Yeah, I mean, as SunClan, your move here is pretty simple. If you have Cyrus, you win the game. If you have Sabrina, you win the game. If you don't have Cyrus or Sabrina, you retreat cycle by Celesteela the Cortana, energy retreat Cortana, big beat. Boom. Massive damage. And win next turn. A little Professor Oak, why not? Do a little bit of research. That means no Cyrus or Sabrina, so Squad Zero gets to live another day. For now. For now, at least. But can they survive? I gotta say, I expected an epic head-to-head grudge match between these two. This is kind of just SunClan kicking butt. Squad Zero has been a little bit unlucky, but SunClan has also been playing very well. Alright, there's the retreat cycle. Then Cortana's going to dump the energy to retreat back into Buzzhole to reactivate Big Beat, because you can't use it twice in a row unless you do these shenanigans. And there's the attack. Cyrus and you win. Cyrus and you win. No way! No way! You win! Squad Zero takes it! Let's go, Sussy! Oh my freaking goodness! After all those Moonbaton misses, that was earned. Immediately plays. No hesitation. No waiting. Just boom, boom. Cyrus, Big Beat, GG, and Squad Zero gets 2 wins in a row. Climbing it back. Climbing it back. Taking out Magikarp. Magikarp has lost its Focus Sash. It is gone. Well played. Yo! Squad Zero was 2 full players behind. Now they're only 1 full player behind. The incredible Magikarp has finally been defeated by Squad Zero, Sussy. Could this be the beginning of a reverse sweep? Could this be the beginning? Is this score correct? Hold on, let me check something. All right, yeah, I think we're correct. I think we're correct. Wow, that was incredible. That was incredible. That Cyrus was deserved. I gotta say, that Cyrus was deserved. With all those Moonbatons missing, oh my goodness, that Cyrus was deserved. Squad Zero has gone first, I think like 4 games in a row. Is this the comeback? Is this going to be the comeback? I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, most of the wins have been for Magikarp. Now, you have to remember, the full SunClan team is playing, but Magikarp was piloting. Does that make a difference? I don't know. Magikarp could be an amazing pilot. I think the full brilliance of SunClan, no pun intended, brilliance also meaning light, haha. I think the full brilliance of SunClan is also in their deck building, right? In their very good timings when they play Mars. Ooh. Ooh. Are we online again? Are we back? Why has the screen done this? I don't know. Sometimes Discord just decides randomly that the screen must move to the left. I don't know why. They're going first again? Squad Zero has to go first again? Rigged. Rigged, I say. I'm joking. So it looks like the SunClan is finally bringing the heat. We've got an Incineroar deck from the looks of it. And that's going to be super effective into a lot of the grass-type Ultra Beasts that Sussy is playing. Yet normally Kartana can actually defeat the Litten if it got to go first. Formosa can't, though. Nah, Formosa can't. Formosa gets cooked. Alright, so we see just a retreat into Celesteela. Nice safe retreat. Trying to be very stable. I wonder if red card gets played here. You see 4 cards in their hand. Red card is guaranteed -1 card. They could have Oak. They could have Pokeball. What are they not playing? What do they have? But Squad Zero decides to hold the red card, which I don't... I would have played it, but we'll see. Maybe it was justified. Maybe SunClan won't be able to play any of the cards they just got with Oak, and then red card will be awesome right now. Entirely possible. Charizard decks and Incineroar decks are famous for getting stuck with a lot of cards in your hand. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's perfectly okay. Maybe it was brilliant to wait to play that red card. It's always hard to know, right? It's always hard to know with red card, especially when you don't know your opponent's deck. Then you're not always sure. Do I red card here? I'm not sure. Litten deciding whether or not to attack. It's a little tricky because if you do attack and then a Kartana comes in, all of a sudden, you could be -1 cat. Litten attacks. Wow. Yeah, no. Well done saving the red card. It worked out. It worked out. That's going to be -3 cards for SunClan. Getting Squad Zero, Sussy, giving them a little bit of a taste of their own medicine after being Mars time and time and time again. But unfortunately, no Kartana has been drawn. Yeah, Squad Zero really wanted a Kartana that turn. That would have given them the ability to KO Litten if it attacked a second time. One possibility we could see is Squad Zero just goes into Formosa here, does 20 damage. If Litten attacks, it does another 10 to itself, and then it would get taken out by another Formosa hit. So that would put Litten sort of in check, forcing it to not attack in order to stay alive one more turn. Or considering Cape, I don't know how much damage the middle form of Litten does. I don't think Cape is necessarily needed here, but I'm not sure. I don't know the numbers on the middle form of Litten. However, if it evolves Rare Candy style into Incineroar, then you need Cape. So, maybe they should have put a Cape. But apparently they decided no capes, much like the tailor of The Incredibles. So Litten can't really attack unless it can evolve, or heal, or cape, or something. Because if it does, it would drop to 20 health, and the mighty fighting Ultra Beast Bug of Destruction would take it out. A second Oak is played from Sun Clan, not letting the red card get them down. Did they draw anything that could get them out of this predicament? It looks like they did. Despite being savagely red carded, they were still able to evolve into Incineroar. And I feel like Squad Zero maybe should have put that cape there. Because this is going to do 70 damage. 50 plus burn. Burn ticks. And down it goes. Yeah, a potential misplay on not using the cape on that last turn. They were thinking about it, decided against it. I don't know what they were calcing, but they forgot about Incineroar, I guess. Alright, Buzzhole is really cool, but totally useless in this situation. You really need to put damage on Incineroar. Right now, Incineroar is threatening to do 140 fire damage, which would destroy absolutely anything. Even a caped Buzzhole. Nope, goes down. It's just done. Yeah, this is I gotta say, it's looking really good for Sun Clan right now. They got red carded, but despite getting red carded, they were able to draw the evolution they needed to make this happen. Squad Zero's thinking they put energy on Buzzhole, but I don't know if that was the right thing to do necessarily, because you kind of want Moonbaton, right? I guess it doesn't even matter, yeah, because you've already lost Formosa, because you didn't cape Formosa. They should have caped Formosa last turn. Not caping Formosa was a big mistake. They're -1 prize point. They're about to be -2 prize points, because Incineroar attacks here, wipes out Celesteela. Even if Sussy draws what's her name? Crazy Nihilego lady next turn and gets enough energy onto Buzzhole to attack, it won't knock out the Incineroar. It won't do enough damage. I think Sun Clan has this. I think Sun Clan has checkmate. Yeah, I think Slashu is just going to eat through every single card. There's Lusamine, aka Crazy Nihilego lady. I forgot her name last turn for some reason. But Lusamine can't save you. Lusamine's not real. She can't save you. She can, let Buzzhole attack once, but your bug is cooked. Your bug is cooked. It's on the grill, and it shouldn't be there. The flames are turned on. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Alright, Sun Clan takes the game 7-4. Sussy did a good job knocking out Magikarp, but this is the problem, right? This is the problem with being so far behind. Every time you knock out a player, Sun Clan can counterpick you. Can savagely counterpick you. Slashu takes game 11, and Sun Clan maintains their very impressive lead over Squad Zero. Sussy will get to choose their second deck. I say choose, they pretty much have to play their second deck. And it looks like a pretty good deck to play into Incineroar. But we've seen this deck before. And we know what happens, right? We know what happens when Sun Clan gets to counterpick. This deck is eaten alive by Silvally. It's a really good win more deck. And by that I mean you're already winning. You play this, you defeat an EX deck, then they defeat you. That's fine. You're just, forcing the games to end 1-for-1. It can help you in that situation, but when you're really far behind, this is not a good deck. And I think that's Squad Zero's problem. They're never this far behind. They never expected to be in this position. Squad Zero decided to start with the Pom Pom Bird, which is confusing the heck out of me. Why wouldn't you use Froakie? Why wouldn't you use Froakie? Save the Pom-Pom Bird for later. It's a fire deck. Use Froakie. Does 30 damage. Hello? I kind of want to shake Sussy and be like, you use the frog. It's right there. It's right there. Use the frog. They're thinking about it. Obviously, they're talking about it. I mean, this is the only decision you could make at this point in time. I get the feeling other people are shouting, use the frog, too. But Sussy's like, nah, Pom-Pom Bird. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. They're not gonna fry this chicken. Use the frog. They're not using the frog. Not even playing the frog. Alright, well, Squad Zero finally gets to go second, which would be really great if they were starting with Froakie. Just saying. Sussy's got to prove me wrong here. Sussy has a duty to prove me wrong. I feel like you are guilty until proven this was the right move. Why start a Rikirio? Why? Doesn't make any sense. If you start Froakie, you're doing damage, water damage, super effective, 430, you two-shot the Charmander. What's going on here? I don't... I'm not feeling this. Sussy, you gotta prove me wrong, Sussy. You gotta prove me wrong, Sussy, because I feel like the frog should have gone against Charmander. Look, Charmander, it's shiny. It's so happy to be here because you didn't use the frog. Look at that frog. Especially funny thing about this is it's the chilling Froakie, like the no concern Froakie. And it's just on the bench, like, I'm fishing. I'm just having fun. Get off the bench and start attacking Charmander. I don't know about this. I am very sus of Sussy's decision here. It's just letting a Rikirio take 20 damage for no reason. Had Froakie been there, you could have KO'd it this turn. You could have knocked Charmander out this turn. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get the play. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, you're doing 50 damage, but you could have KO'd it last turn. What are you doing? I don't know. Maybe they were worried about like a sudden Rare Candy evolution sniping the Froakie again. But why do you care? And the funny thing is, Squad Zero just made the same decision again. They could have retreated and attacked with Froakie this turn, and it would have been effectively the same thing. Maybe minus 20 damage. But they're deliberately choosing to fight it out with a Rikirio. Squad Zero is consciously choosing to use the Pom-Pom Bird instead of the frog. I don't know why. I don't get it. The Pom-Pom Bird is your win con. You keep that alive, you auto-win the game eventually. Alright, Charmeleon comes online. This is going to do massive damage to a Rikirio, but a Rikirio will be able to take it out next turn. Though it would have been gone when it was a Charmander if Froakie had attacked. I don't know. Alright. You got the Torracat coming online. You got the Charmeleon. I mean, this is putting a big threat on a Rikirio. Even if a Rikirio stays in and knocks out Charmeleon. Okay, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Well-needed heal. Well-needed heal. You're gonna play it, right? I feel like I'm that Anakin meme. You got Nurse Joy. You're gonna play it, right? You're gonna play it, right? They're trolling me. Squad Zero's trolling me with this one. All right, yeah. Of course, they're finally playing it, right? That'll keep Oricorio healthy and tanky, let it safely take out the Charmeleon, and continue to fight the Torracat next turn. I think despite the interesting decision to use Oricorio instead of Froakie, I'm going to ask them about this later. Yeah, we're going to see if we can interview Sassy and say, hey, that game, what happened? That being said, this is still a very good deck to use against Charizard. I mean, this is the counter to Charizard and Incineroar, right? This is the counter deck. I still think they're going to win. It was a little touch and go for a second there, but I still think they're going to win. I think they've got it. I'm more worried about the fact, ultimately, that they're playing Oricorio and they're going to get stomped if Slashu has a Silvally as their second deck. If Slashu does not have a Silvally as their second deck, they're golden. But if Slashu has a Silvally as their second deck, ooh, that's not so good. That's not so good. And Squad Zero is thinking about this. I mean, you could bring in Froakie, right? Do 30 damage, put it in threat of Oricorio for next turn, force the evolution. Or you could cape Shaman Iono, maybe try to get Greninja or something with the Iono. If you're going to Iono, don't put the energy yet. Are they going to Iono? I don't know. I feel like Squad Zero is a little more mixed up than usual. Alright, they're not going for it. Iono's a potential win right here, this turn. I guess you don't need to go for it, but I would have gone for it. I feel like you cape Oricorio and then play Iono. And then if you get Greninja, put the energy on Greninja, win the game. If you don't get Greninja, it's the same situation. And now that you get Iono'd by your opponent. I don't know. Some mistakes were made this game, but they're going to win anyway. Probably. Alright, so Incineroar can't actually hurt the mighty Pom-Pom bird. It's got this force field around it from its powerful electric cheering. Don't ask. That makes it immune to damage from EX Pokemon, but it can still take damage from burns, which is what we just saw happen. No hesitation. Immediate Irida. The reason that they're playing Irida instead of cycling into the second Oricorio and eliminating the burn altogether is because they don't have any electric energy, so the second Oricorio wouldn't be able to attack. That's sort of the idea there. So that's a good play. That's a correct play. Get a second Froakie from the Pokeball. That's just good drawdown, even though they can't play the Froakie. It's making it more likely they'll draw Greninja next turn. Well played. Alright, the Pom-Pom bird smacks the giant fire tiger in the face with its Pom-Pom. Takes a little burn damage. Doesn't really matter if this is heads or tails, because they're just going to get burned again anyway. La Testa! It's heads. And, yeah. Sun Clan surrenders, and that's going to be the game. I still am uncertain. I still have questions about why we didn't start Froakie that game, but we can ask those questions later, because Sussy has just taken game 12 for Squad Zero. Incredible against Slashu, and is closing the distance, very slowly closing the distance and catching up to Sun Clan. They're still 2 behind, and this is critical, because right now, Slashu, I believe, has to play their second deck. So, yeah. Wait. Am I missing something? Hold on. Yeah, no, yeah. Sorry, I was confused why it was Charizard into Oricorio, but it was Oricorio into Charizard because Sussy's second deck is Oricorio, I think. Yeah. So now we get to see Slashu's second deck, whatever that is. And it'll be interesting to see if Slashu has something like a Silvally in the back, which would be devastating for Sussy. Or if they don't. if they have another EX deck, which would just be amazing for Sussy. Let's find out. Let's find out. This could be the gap closer. This could be the gap closer. Again? Again? Every stinking game, Squad Zero's going first. Let's see some seconds. Come on. Wow. That's wild. Their hand isn't bad, though. Their hand isn't bad. We'll see if they get Marsed, but their hand isn't bad. I'm really curious what /U is playing. I can't quite see the energy. I'm trying to look through the In Attesa dell'Avversario, but behind that, it looks like a leaf. It looks like a leaf energy. Yeah. Yeah, is this a Buzzhole deck? Yeah. And you know what? Buzzhole decks are very good against Oricorio, especially if you start Kartana. Especially if you start Kartana. It's not a bad opening from Squad Zero. They got good cards. I think you play Oricorio here. You play Oricorio here. Play Oricorio. Do not get red carded out of your Greninja. Oh my goodness, do not get red carded out of your Greninja. Play it. Play it. Play it, I tell you. They can't hear me. They can't hear me. But I'm psychically... I am Abra, sending you a telekinetic message. Play the bird. For the love of all that is good in the world, don't get Marsed again. No, I mean, it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision. There are arguments for and against playing the Pom-Pom Bird, the second Pom-Pom Bird onto the bench. If you play it, you only have 3 cards in your hand, so you won't get Marsed or red carded. If you don't play it, you have a free open slot. I would have played it there. I would have played it. The reason I would have played it is because you have Oak in hand, you have Rare Candy in hand, and you have Greninja in hand. And you're probably about to lose your front Oricorio no matter what happens. I would have played it. I will say that due to the electric energy, it's a little bit of a better move. Because now you can't, like, guarantee the Gren. And they didn't get punished for it. They didn't end up getting punished for it. The Mars red card didn't happen. I'm not sure why you Oak there, though. Because Oak doesn't really... Yeah, I would have saved that Oak. Maybe. I don't think you Oak there. Because there's nothing you need this turn, and Mars is still on the table. And we know they love playing Mars. This is a bit of a weird one. There's a lot of options for Squad Zero here. They could put the second Pom-Pom Bird on the bench, which they should have done last turn, give an electric energy, and then KO Kartana next turn. That's a potential move. Well, yeah. Looks like that's what they're doing. Great minds think alike. So why are we thinking alike? Because I'm an idiot. I'm just kidding. You're the idiot. No, everyone's smart. I'm messing around. Because I'm waiting for them to click buttons. Click the buttons already. I only got so much silliness in me. That's not true. I have an unbounded amount of silliness in me. So, Greninja can fire, and it looks like it's going to aim for Celesteela. A little bit questionable, because if they're running regular Cape, then you will have wanted to have damaged Kartana. But there's always the possibility of Cyrusing the Celesteela forward, and then hitting it with a Oricorio, and then that combo... Yeah, there's the Cape. We talked about this. We talked about this. They have Guzma, though, so it's fine. I just realized that. They have Guzma. It's fine. Yeah, now Squad Zero was one step ahead of me. One step ahead of me. They got the Goose. They got the Goose. The Goose will solve the Cape problem. Yeah, no, Squad Zero is playing this pretty well. I still think they should have put Oricorio on the bench earlier. But they're playing this pretty well. Guzma eliminates the cape, and then Greninja plus a Rickerio poke will palm down the piece of paper from another world. You think taking tests is hard? You think filling out paperwork is hard? Bills are hard? Imagine you come from the world where Kartana lives in, alright? You're writing down on a piece of paper and you use a leaf blade on your face. Now that's scary. Ultra Beasts. We could possibly see a Moonbaton play here. Nope. No Moonbaton? No Moonbaton. Yeah, they're not going for it. Not going for it. They either didn't have Lusamine or... Yeah, I guess they just didn't have Lusamine. Because Celesteela is really the only way that they're getting rid of that Oricorio. Finally, a water energy. That's huge, because Greninja is a very strong attacker. And kind of the only attacker after this Oricorio goes down. It's a little bit of a tough call here, what to do. On the one hand, you really kind of want to attack Buzzhole, because it's 2 prize points. And if the Moonbaton goes off, you'll lose your Pom-Pom Bird. You don't want to lose your Pom-Pom Bird. But on the other hand, being able to knock out this Celesteela is pretty good. Oh, that's interesting. They're going for the one with energy, but that doesn't matter. But why? Huh? 70 damage? Yeah. Why? Did that move make sense to anybody? Why? I'm scratching my hat. I don't understand that one. Why not just attack the one that's right in front of you? Greninja it off and force a free swap. I don't get it. Yeah, no, I don't understand that play. You're still getting Moonbatoned one way or another. Maybe the idea was just to, in case they don't have Lusamine, to get rid of the one with energy so that it can't attack again. I'm guessing that's what's going on. I'm guessing they're doing some kind of energy manip thing. Alright, it's Tails. Oh, I figured it out. I know what Squad Zero's doing. Here's their plan. Here's their plan. If Moonbaton had worked, if it had gone off and Oricorio was done. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because you still have to KO it, and then they Lusamine the energy onto Buzzhole, and you lose. I have no idea what they were doing. But Moonbaton didn't work, thankfully. We've seen a lot of Moomba misses today. So Squad Zero is looking pretty good. The second Celesteela is now in range for Greninja to take it out with Poke plus Attack. That's really big. That means that if this Celesteela goes down, and that one does not have the ability to heal in any way, and since this deck usually runs Erica as healing, that won't work on Celesteela, they'd have to bring forward a Buzzhole, but Buzzhole can't defeat a Oricorio. So I think Squad Zero's got this. I don't know what they were doing last turn with that Cyrus. Maybe they were just trying to play down. It's possible they were just worried about Mars and they were playing down. I don't know. Yeah, Squad Zero, when you're watching this, because I know you guys watch the VODs, message me, and like when I have these quests, say, oh, by the way, in that game, this is what we were thinking, because that would help me out a lot to be like, why'd they make that move? Because I'd love to know. I'd really like to know why the Cyrus thing last turn. I can't figure it out. I can't figure out the play. It's got to be something big brain, but let me know. And if anybody in the comments knows, because of the 10-minute delay, it'll take a bit, but let me know that as well. All right, Desperation Moonbaton, it doesn't matter. It's still going down to Greninja. Yeah, that was just for fun. That was basically just for fun. Oricorio goes down, but it doesn't matter. Greninja's going to come in and clean up. Squad Zero takes this game, and the incredible Sussy has managed to get 4 wins against Sun Clan. You thought this was over? It's only just begun. It's only just begun. 6-7. Squad Zero has just knocked Slashu off the map. And SunClan only has 2 more members to fight Sussy and the remaining member of Squad Zero. In terms of players, it's tied now. In terms of players, it is once again tied between Squad Zero and SunClan. But in terms of score, SunClan is winning. In terms of initiative, SunClan is really winning. Because they can now pick either one of their remaining players, whoever has the best deck, Silvally deck, that can beat this and bring that player forward. So all they have to do is be like, I choose you, Silvally. And they probably take the next game. But Sussy has done an amazing job. I actually need to shrink this a little bit because Sussy's name has been... Yeah, there we go. Sussy's done a great job. Sussy's done an incredible job. Sussy's done really well. 4 games. 4 games. It ties them up with Magikarp. It ties them with Magikarp. If Sussy takes one more game, it'll be 7-7. And that would be crazy. I'm amazed Squad Zero came back this much. They were at a 4-game deficit. They were at a 4-game deficit. But game after game, they're bringing it back. And they keep going first. Squad Zero keeps going first. They're going first again and again and again. This is a good match. This is a good match. It's not what I expected. I thought it would be like head-to-head. I take one, you take one, I take one, you take one. Instead, it was SunClan brings the heat from the start. Just knocking out Squad Zero members. Boom. We lose Zested. Boom. Dark gets taken out. Boom. Goons. The Anchor Goons gets taken out. Then Sussy comes in, and Sussy's like, alright. Hold my Pokedex. Just takes a game, drops one to Slashu, takes 2 more games. Slashu's gone. It's just... Yeah, Sussy's on fire. Sussy with the carry. Alright, here we go. This is going to be Jacob from SunClan. SunClan's realizing that they're losing their lead. This has got to be a good counter pick. Something that's really strong. What? It's got to be a poison deck. It's got to be a poison deck. I don't know why they're not playing Silvally. Maybe they're out of Silvallies. But this is winnable for Squad Zero. It's hard. This is obviously Guz Poison. It's a hard matchup for Rikirio. But it's possible. It's possible. And Squad Zero's not going first this time. They're going second. With a decent hand. You never want 2 Oaks in your starting hand. Because you can't play them both. So it's a guaranteed dead card. It can be good if you don't need any cards until like turn your second or third turn. But overall, it's still a very good hand. But yeah, SunClan also has an Oak. They get an early Poison Barb. That's nasty. This is going to be a good match. This is probably going to be the best match of the set. I'm thinking about this. This is going to be a very tactical game. Yeah, because Squad Zero needs to play around Poison, but Guzzlord can't damage a Rikirio. This is going to be a good game. This is probably going to be the best game of the set. Double Pokeball. Nice. Yeah, I think you Pokeball first. Because it's going to just be a Rikirio, Shaman, Gran. Unless, like, there's a combination that's bad. Like, Froakie, double Froakie, Shaman is probably a bad combo. So I would play Oak after drawing Shaman. Okay, they still got the bird. They still got the bird. It worked out. It worked out. Huh. This is going to be a very technical match. Got another bird. Yeah, I mean, I think you just fill the bench here, right? Well, we know Sun Clan loves Mars and red card. I wonder if that's a tactic in global gym battles. Just start with a lot of Mars and red cards so your opponent always thinks it's coming and then freaks out, but then you're not running anymore. That would be funny. That would be a really funny mind game to play. Like, yeah, we have Mars and red card in every deck, and then you just don't put it in any decks after like the first few. What's interesting is they chose not to play Shaman against an obviously poison heavy deck. They're like bouncing on it. I was that a misclick potentially? Did they just forget to play the Shaman? I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened, but it's a poison deck. Why wouldn't you play your healer shrub? Something I saw recently is there's this person who makes like these posts of Pokemon cards, and then will hide a Kirby somewhere in the card, and you have to find Kirby. It's like Where's Waldo, but with Kirby on a Pokemon card. It's so cool. It's so cool. I'm just thinking of the Shaman one because there's a lot of pink, and I'd be like, all right, where's the Kirby? Those are fun. I really like those. I should make some of those. I might make some actually. Find the Kirby because those are fun. They're taking a while. I wonder what they're thinking about. Golden Nihilego. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, that golden squid is gonna make every single tick of poison hurt like heck. Alright, Oak comes online. Get anything good? Guzma's good. Guzma's good. Rare Candy's good. But you can't do much this turn. Alright, retreating into a Ricario. So I don't know if they're aware of this, but that's not as safe as you think. That is not as safe as you think because Guzzlord can't damage Oricorio. But there's something else it could do. I wonder if we're gonna see it. Why? You could just use Grindcore. I guess because they want to put energy on Nihilego. Right? Yeah. They just want to put energy on Nihilego. Ooh, let's go. They got the Greninja. Yeah, this is a very intense match. It's like they're both slowly building up power. Once Nihilego comes online, it'll eat Oricorios for breakfast. But now Greninja's here, and it can deal with the Nihilego. But not exactly, because it's the wrong energy type. So what do you do here? Do you start poking down the Nihilego? But yeah, I think Squad Zero screwed up last turn. They should have put the Oricorio without any energy forward if they were going to retreat like that. They should not have kept an Oricorio with energy on the front line in front of a Guzzlord. That's asking for your energy to be deleted. It ended up happening through Team Rocket, not Guzzlord's attack, but still, that was a mistake. Squad Zero did make a mistake there, I think. A tiny tactical mistake, but like I said, this is a very technical, tactical game. And that energy loss makes it more difficult to KO Nihilego now. Because now you can't both retreat and switch in your own Oricorio. You would have to lose one of your Oricorios in order to do that, which is not something you want at all. And to make matters worse, you're going to lose it in the worst possible way. Because 30 damage, poison tick, then the poison will tick again when it goes back to the enemy's turn, which means Nihilego gets to attack another Oricorio, or you dump more energy retreating. It's so bad for Squad Zero. They're getting devastated because of that tiny mistake a turn ago. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase. They will be getting devastated next turn / this turn as a result of a tiny mistake a turn ago. Time is weird, and I'm thinking a few turns ahead and back. Shaman can fix the problem, sort of. Shaman can save the day here. But yeah, it's a shame. Shaman. Shame. Ah, there's a missed opportunity for a pun. I am ashamed of myself for not taking advantage of that. So yeah, if Squad Zero had used the energyless Oricorio instead, they could have KO'd Nihilego this turn. Even if Nihilego wasn't in front, they could have Cyrus'd it in, which would have allowed the Oricorios to permanently stall and switch back and forth. But because of that mistake, one of the Oricorios is probably going down. Yeah, you just poke the Guz at this point. Poke the Guz. Do you poke the Celesteela? No. You poke the Guz. You poke the Guz. You poke the Celesteela. Huh? Why wouldn't you poke the Guz? Poke a Pokemon the Guz. Why? That's a brutal red card. Though I guess if Guzma was red carded away, maybe poking the Guz isn't as good after all. I don't know. So with that play, Cyrus is gone, meaning Nihilego can actually safely retreat. It doesn't need to get the last hit on Oricorio. It's going to go down to poison. And again, this wouldn't have happened if Squad Zero had not made that mistake early on. I keep coming back to it, but I think it's important. I'm not trying to like beat up on the players. I'm bringing it up because it's really interesting to see how one decision on the first few turns of the game can continue to impact the game in every future turn. Because that happened, they couldn't destroy Nihilego. Because they couldn't destroy Nihilego, Nihilego was able to retreat, and they got red carded out of Cyrus, so they still couldn't destroy the Nihilego, and their Oricorio is going to go down to poison. So all of these things, this snowball of events that's putting Squad Zero Sussy in a tight spot, all happened because of that one misplay. That one tiny, tricky misplay. And it's something you don't really realize unless you've played against Guzzlord decks a lot, but you actually want the Oricorio without energy to be tanking. They got Cyrus. Heart of the Cards has saved them. Now, this is an expensive fix, right? This is an expensive fix. Because you dumped Cyrus, you lost a bird, you can't bird cycle. They have another Nihilego, right? So this was a very pricey fix for that mistake. But at the very least, Nihilego's finally going to go down. Greninja should do something first, yeah. It looks like they're determined to just focus on the Celesteela. They have put the Celesteela in range, where if it comes onto the field, Oricorio plus Greninja will finish it off. So Celesteela is now in check, sort of. But that won't win them the game, because Sussy only has one prize point. And losing one bird is very scary against Guzzlord. Because, you know, Guzzlord can start Sabrina-ing you, hitting your back line, doing 120 damage, wiping out your energy. There's a lot of plays Guzzlord can make. But this is a very close game. It's a very close game. I think it would have been dominating for Squad Zero if they had played that first turn a little differently, but it's still a very close game. And I'm actually surprised that SunClan brought this deck forward. Because if you're going to use a poison deck against Oricorio, it should be a Naganel deck, but maybe they didn't have one. This is actually, funnily enough, one of the decks that Oricorio can actually fight. Maybe they're bricked? Maybe they have Naga, but they're just not drawing it? I don't know. Alright, we see Oak get played. Lots of cards. I mean, they gotta have something. Right? Second Nihilego. Naganadel. Something Poipole. Something to call her Poipole. Alright, no, they got nothing. So they're just cycling into Guzzlord, and I think Guzzlord is gonna grindcore this to try to... second Guzzlord. Yeah, this is just gonna be grindcore. The idea is to try to remove Oricorio's energy here. Didn't work. And it's back to Sussy. Ooh, nice Froakie. Gonna drop that on the bench. That could be a nice Froggy pal later. But this is a tough situation. Without Guzma, there's no way to peel that poison barb. And it is really, really risky to allow yourself to get poisoned because the opponent could put they could put Nihilego on the bench, Lusamine it, and wipe you out. Right? Because Nihilego plus instant attack, if you've already taken a 10 tick, would drop you, I think, to 10 health. So you still live, but it's tricky. And whenever something's tricky, there's a chance you could make a mistake. There's a chance, I don't know, Giovanni could happen, for all I know. Right? I doubt this deck is running Giovanni, but my point is, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with numbers like that. So technically, Oricorio could attack here, but it probably doesn't want to. I think you poke the one with the barb. I mean, Celesteela is already in. Why would you poke the one without the barb? Obviously, they're gonna feed you the one with the. You know So I think Greninja should have hit the Guzzlord in the front because that Guzzlord has Poison Barb, which means SunClan is likely to keep that Guzzlord on the front, meaning it's the most likely that can get hit by a Oricorio eventually. But maybe there's another Cyrus or a Sabrina, hiding in this deck somewhere that can lure it in later. So if they have a second Cyrus, then that's a good move, right? If they have a second Cyrus, then that's a perfectly good move. I actually don't know what's in their deck. Yeah, SunClan is thinking. They play a Celesteela. Did they only have one Nihilego? Did they only have one Nihilego? Wow, they must have only had one Nihilego. Alright, they're gonna bring in the Celesteela and go for Moonbaton. If this knocks out Oricorio, that's game. That's game. If this is heads, I think SunClan wins. Yeah. That was a good play. It was a very good play. I don't think it's possible for Squad Zero to take it now because I mean, let me think about this. With Cape, you can live one turn of Guzzlord. Just one, though. You've got no Cyrus. Did poking that make sense? Because you still two-shot it with your attack, but I don't know. It might have made sense to poke something else, but that's fine. Sab. Yeah, that's GG. That's GG. Well played. That is finally the end of Sussy, unfortunately. I think this entire game came down to that very, very small decision early on where Sussy put the Oricorio with energy in front of a Guzzlord. Even if they hadn't Team Rocketed it, Guzzlord itself could have grindcored the energy away. I think that was a little bit reckless. And I think that is the reason Squad Zero lost that game. That they could have won that game had they played that a little bit better. But that's tough. You really have to be familiar with the Guzzlord matchup to see that coming. I saw it coming just because I'm a little bit familiar with that matchup. But yeah, that was tough. That was a tough thing to see. But it was a small mistake. And that's fair, SunClan takes the win. This is going to put them 8-6. This means that Squad Zero only has one player left. Sussy has been defeated. The incredible Sussy has been defeated. I don't think I got the name of the Squad Zero member who was playing, so I might have to update their name later. But game 14 goes to, I don't have their name, from SunClan. We will get their name. Jacob, I think. It was Jacob, right? Jacob. Jacob from SunClan takes that game. Really well played from SunClan. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. They're playing amazing, right? SunClan's doing a great job. I gotta give them credit. I mean, Squad Zero has not been playing at their best today. Their luck hasn't been their best. they've been making these small mistakes, and I haven't seen as many of the big brain plays. And when they do make the big brain plays, SunClan counters them with their own big brain plays, or really good deck building, or Mars. Most of the time, Mars. I can't tell you how many times Squad Zero has been wiped out by Mars. It's crazy. So ultimately, I gotta give SunClan credit. They are playing this well. I can't say, even though I think they've gotten definitely lucky with the fact that they keep going second. Like, someone should do a counter as to how many times they went second instead of first. But even considering that, I still think they're playing well. All right, Squad Zero only has one more person left. One more member that they can bring forward to fight the mighty SunClan. I mean, this is it. This is it. Their last player has to get 4 wins in a row. 4 wins in a row with 2 decks. Whereas SunClan has so many options to pick from. They got 2 more players, 4 different decks. Odds are they have a counter for whatever you're running. It's looking tough for Squad Zero. Even Sussy, who had an amazing 4-game streak, did not win 4 games in a row. But Magikarp pulled it off. Magikarp did it. Squad Zero could do it. Squad Zero can still bring this back. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I will say it's funny how that one small decision I keep talking about with the Eureka Rio thing. Like, imagine if Squad Zero had won this. The score would be 7-7. The score would be 7-7. That would be such a different situation. It would be dead even. Super close. But they did miss that. They did make that mistake. It's a tough game. Pokemon Pocket played at this level, the level of the best players in the world, it's a very tough game. You have to think so far in advance. Like, the one tiny, small, barely even a mistake just snowballs into this crazy situation. It's a tough game. It's a really, really brutal game. Every tiny mistake is punished. That's what happens when you play really any game at this level. These are good players. You know, they say like a battle of masters is decided in an instant. That when 2 people or 2 teams excel at something and they're the best in the world, the first person to slip, the first person to blink loses, right? First person to take a breath at the wrong time. Just the tiniest thing. Because they're both so good that they will take every advantage and use it to win. And I think that's what we're seeing here. You know, these teams are playing at a level where you just can't lose. But there is hope for Squad Zero. You know who's playing? Lotus is playing. This is the gym leader of Squad Zero. This is the gym leader who has come forward to say, you know what? We're not going down without a fight. Lotus has to win 4 consecutive games in order to take it. And even if Squad Zero can't win, they still want to take as many games as possible to improve their overall score, because it could determine whether or not they get into the final tournament, what their seed is. They really want to take every game they can. But for Lotus, as the gym leader of Squad Zero, going up against SunClan, your rivals, who have been in the lead this entire set, you really want to win all 4 games. You really want to take it. Squad Zero is going first yet again. Every time. Oh my goodness, they keep going first. It's like the plague of that blue text. Alright, it's going to be Dark Tina versus Guz Poison. A battle of the dark type decks. I kind of like that, actually. Aha, I do that too. So they put Giratina on the bench and then took Giratina off the bench because they're going first. That's the right thing to do. When you're going first, you shouldn't put anything on the bench because you can do it on your first turn, and there's nothing that can stop you. So it's a technical thing where there's not always a reason for it, but sometimes there is. So it's a technical thing that really you can tell someone's good if they do that. That little no, I'm not going to put it on the bench. That's how you know Lotus is good. That's how you know Lotus is good at this game. Only the best players do that. Okay, it's the Nihilego variant, and they also have a gold Nihilego. Lotus is like, hey, you think you're so good with your gold Nihilego? I got a gold Nihilego. My gold squid's better than your gold squid. Even puts it on the bench. Giratina bellows, and the game begins. Now, just like before, this is also going to be a very technical game. It's Darkrai versus Poison. These are two decks that are a little bit slower to ramp up. They both need certain tech to get online before they can start fighting. But Guzzlord is a little bit funny because it deletes energy, and Darkrai needs a lot of energy. So Guzzlord is arguably a little bit of its weakness. And that's really scary for the Darkrai Giratina player. You've got this very scary Guzzlord. It's super effective against Giratina. But on the other hand, you got the early poke. And they can't do that, right? You're not attacking into their poison barb, you're poking them down. So it'll all come down to how well the Darkrai Giratina player, Lotus, gym leader of Squad Zero, can target and eliminate Guzzlord. This is not really a deck where you can kind of take out the surrounding Pokemon, like take out the Nihilego, take out the Celesteela, take out another Nihilego or another Celesteela. You can do it, but it's really hard to pull off with double EX Pokemon like Darkrai and Giratina. It's something that you kind of more want to do if you were running your Rikoreo deck. Maybe you could play around it a little bit more, but that's because Rikoreo is an invincible wall that Guzzlord just cannot stop. I mean, giant Cthulian monsters that eat your face? Pom-pom birds, come on. Pom-pom birds hard counter Cthulian monsters that eat your face. The cheerleading OP, what can I say? So, because of that, the Greninja deck can pick stuff off. But the Darkrai Giratina deck can't really do that. You need to take out a Guzzlord. So right now, Lotus has got to lock on. Lotus has got to be like, okay, see that Guzzlord? I'm going to KO that Guzzlord. Every move I make, every step I take, I'm going to KO Guzzlord. That's what they got to do. That's what Lotus has to do to win this game. This is tense. You got to feel the pressure if you're Lotus. You know, Sussy just had an amazing 4-win streak. But your team is getting wrecked by your arch rivals. And you're the gym leader. You made the decisions. You put everybody in this place. I'm sorry, Lotus, if you're watching this later. I'm going to try to put more pressure on you. But you got to feel that responsibility of leadership and be like, I got to pull this one off for the team. I'm going on a 4-win streak. I'm going to show Sun Clan. Technically speaking, you could go 2-1-2. Basically, you just can't drop 2 games. So it doesn't have to be a perfect 4-win streak. Imitating Sussy would actually be fine. And just going 2-1-2, actually. That would win it. But yeah, Lotus wants to win. Alright, Poison Barb was placed on the Guzzlord, not the Celesteela. And the Guzzlord is coming forward. We're probably going to see Grindcore go off here. It's about ready to start using its ultimate attack. Poke Center would perfectly heal this, but I don't know if that matters. Now, the question is, how do you fight the Guzzlord? If you bring in Giratina, Giratina will self-KO into the Guzzlord. You got to think what's going through Squad Zero's head right now. Let's invade their minds for a second. This is the situation where you need to think like 4 turns in advance, right? Leaf. Giratina attacks. Guzzlord destroys Giratina. Darkrai finishes Guzzlord, but you've put 1 energy on your back Guzzlord. Your back Guzzlord comes in. Lusamine. It's a 3 energy. It grindcores. Maybe I miss here. What? They're stalling. Yeah, they're stalling? But you could have just gone in with the Giratina and did the things I said. As long as you get Cyrus eventually, you're good. I think. Well, yeah, you need Cyrus in like 2 turns. So that might be a little hard to pull off. Actually, Cyrus in 2 turns. Oh, I get it. I see what Squad Zero is doing. Okay. So the problem with the plan I was mentioning is that you'd have to get Cyrus in 2 turns. But this plan is better. What Squad Zero is doing is better. By healing, they're able to stall for a turn so that next turn, Leaf, Giratina, Darkrai poke, 150 damage, Guzzlord goes down. They're planning on assassinating Guzzlord without losing a single Pokemon, including Giratina. Much smarter than what I said. That's why you're the Squad Zero, and I'm the commentator with the cool hat. And who's desperately in need of a haircut. I've been very busy. I will get this cleaned up soon. I'm disguising myself as a Drampa. Alright, Grindcore does eliminate the energy, but SunClan got the wrong idea. They thought that the poke was going to come from the front Darkrai, it would have 2 energy, it would retreat into Giratina. But that's not what's happening. Squad Zero has Leaf. So No! No, wait, why? But you could have won. Oh, because it healed. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it healed. I forgot that it healed. I didn't see that. I didn't see that it healed. It's all good. Ooh, right, they use Nurse Joy. So Squad Zero continues to use Nurse Joy to stall. Oh, the mind games. The game. I said this would be a tactical game, and it is a very tactical game. They're facing off each other, keeling their front lines. First person to blink loses. This is exactly what I said it would be. Not what the moves I thought they would make. I was completely wrong about the moves I thought they would make. But the style of game. These 2 Pokemon are just staring at each other. They're both full health. They're both getting healed. They both have poison barbs. Whichever Pokemon falls first loses. That's the game that's being played. Don't fall first. Don't drop first. Don't get KO'd first. Giratina has 5 Psychic Energy. This is wild. And Squad Zero, they're not taking any chances. Even if they get red carded out of Leaf or Marsed out of Leaf, they still have the chance of Grindcore Miss, Energy on, Darkrai retreat into Giratina, and you still get the poke 150. Oak is played, so there's no more supporter cards coming. I don't think they have Potion in that deck. You don't run Potion in that deck. So Guzzlord is either going to retreat into something else, or it's going to drop. It just goes for Tyrannical Hole. Big damage, poisoning itself. Darkrai poke isn't even needed here. It's probably still going to happen. Do you even leaf? No, you don't leaf. You don't leaf. You Guzma. You Guzma. Because then Giratina still gets knocked out by Guzzlord. Never mind, that doesn't fix anything. I was going like this, but I need to go like this. Yeah, Guzma doesn't actually work. Oh no, it does, because of Cape! Because of Cape! Right, they're a step ahead of me. Squad Zero is a step ahead of me. It does work because of Cape. Yeah. And now, Giratina will have enough health that even after the self-damage recoil, right, from its attack, it'll still be able to live a super effective hit from the opposing Guzma after Lusamine, gives it 2 energy and 1 more energy is added, and then it uses whatever the heck its attack is called next turn. Okay. There's so many steps ahead you have to think in a game like this. That's why it's crazy tactical. There's so many steps. There's so many options to consider and things that affect other things. And now Giratina's sitting comfy. It'll survive with exactly 10 health from a super effective Guzzlord hit after Lusamine, which means there's no Giovanni or anything like that coming. Not that they'd be running Giovanni anyway, but, you know. Nihilego, that's not going to help you. Yeah, because losing Guzzlord means you lose 2 prize points. So Nihilego's toast if it stays. The only way is like a Rocket Grunt or a Grindcore that just completely wipes out the opponent. We got double Nihilego down, so Poison's going to be doing 30 damage a turn. The Guzzlord comes out. Wait a minute. Guzzlord? Guzma? Are they related? Is Guzma Guzzlord's mother somehow? Well, that's a creepypasta I hope nobody ever makes. So, Giratina has been damaged by Grindcore, but got to keep all its energy. But there's no Sabrina. In absence of Sabrina, there is no fantastically wonderful way to win the game this turn. Probably we're just going to see some chaotic impacts here. Because I think that there's no healing that could be done necessarily, except a second nurse onto Celesteela that could possibly tank Darkrai next turn. So I think Squad Zero has it. I think Lotus has it. Yeah, really, I have to say, this is classic Squad Zero. Me having no idea what they're doing, predicting them wrong, and them doing crazy plays. Like, I'm not worried. I'm going to patiently double Nurse Joy my frontline Darkrai twice, and then bet hedge a retreat with energy and leaf into a perfectly timed Giratina. Well played, Squad Zero. This is classic Squad Zero. This is Lotus showing up and being the gym leader. This is Squad Zero. Where was the Squad Zero all set? This is the Squad Zero that we know and love. That was a great game. That was a really, really good game. Squad Zero played that better. Squad Zero played that better. They played that insanely well. That was so good. That was so good. But, you know, that's not enough. That's not enough. Sun Zero's been playing really well this whole time. Been playing really well this whole time. Squad Zero is you know, they got to win the next few games too. They got to win the next few games too. All right, Jacob is bringing on their second deck against Lotus. Lotus is going first again. What is with this? Squad Zero always goes first. They never go second. They never go second. Seriously, how many times have they gone first? How many times? Someone needs to keep a running counter of that. Maybe I should keep a running counter of that. I don't know. Where would I put it? Like below the delay 10 minutes thing? I could have like a little thing that's like just tracks how many times each team has gone first. It's hard, right? Because there are different advantages you could have. You could have early Pokeballs, which is a big advantage, but not in every matchup. You could have early Oaks, which is a big advantage. You could go first as Giratina, but that's not quite as bad as going first as something like a Silvally, for example. I don't know. But either way, if you're Lotus right now, you do not want to be going first. Alright, so this is a plant deck. So this is the classic Buzz Ultra Beast, you know, Buzzhole going up against the Poison Ultra Beast from Lotus. Poison Ultra Beast? No, wait. Sorry, Darktina. Yeah, Darktina. What am I saying? That is a Darkrai, right? It looks a little greenish. Is that like one of them rainbow double star art cards? It looks green from here. Darkrai, you feeling alright? Yeah. You ride the roller coaster too many times. Alright. Nice, fresh Giratina, Pokeballed in. And that's the good thing about Giratina. It doesn't hate going first. It's like, I gotta go first? Alright. I get energy. Gimme. Now, this is interesting. Do you go double Darkrai or double Tina? You kind of have your pick here. Double Darkrai worked really well for Squad Zero last time. And I don't think you can get two Tinas online. But Tina's better at tanking Buzzhole. Got a Bellow. Got a Bellow. Oh! Oh! The clock was showing 1 second. The clock was showing 1 second. They almost missed the Bellow. So, it's close. That was pretty close. Almost missed that Bellow. Well, this game's been going on. This set has been going on for 3.5 hours. This is insane. This is insane. This has been a long one. And normally, you see like a GGB set. Okay, maybe it goes 3 hours. Right? This is a long one. These two teams are having at it. This is a no mercy, no holds barred. Alright, Formosa comes online. That's going to be able to start poking the back line, which is really scary. It could put Giratina into the range where Buzzhole could knock it out. It could put Darkrai in some Kartana positions. Probably goes for the Giratina. Yeah, it's going for the Giratina. This is pretty tough. This is pretty tough. I'm not entirely sure what you do as the Dark Tina player here. Because Dark Tina really wants to slowly set up and then sweep. But the Ultra Beasts have enough health that the poke isn't really the end of the world for them. They have enough energy gen to compete with Giratina. They have enough health to tank Giratina. Some of them do. And they have Buzzhole is just insane and can one-shot Darkrai, but Darkrai can't reciprocate. So overall, I think that the Buzzhole is a pretty good answer to Dark Tina with the Formosa poke. Because it kind of just gets everything in range. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for Lotus. This is going to be very challenging for Lotus. If I had to guess right now, I'd say SunClan wins this game, but... Ooh. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. They didn't put the energy on Darkrai. Put the energy instead on Nihilego? It could be retreating. Could be a retreat play. I'm not sure. That's an interesting move. Normally you put the energy on Darkrai, but maybe Nihilego wants to retreat. Maybe that's the plan. But that'll heavily delay Darkrai. Yeah, Darkrai is going to be goober delayed now. This is... It's tough. It's tough. I don't quite see how Dark Tina gets to the Buzzhole in time. Buzzwole. I keep trying to fuse together Buzzhole and Guzzlord. In my head, it's like they're getting mixed up. And then we throw Guzma in. Guzzlord. Guzma. Buzzhole. I don't know. There's something there, somewhere in the ruins of Alpha. You push the right buttons and Regigigas appears. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Alright, so Giant's Cape is going to be placed on Formosa. That'll give it a lot of survivability against the crazy poison that it's probably about to imbibe. There's the poison. That's going to be dealing 20 damage a turn to Formosa. And the question we're all wondering is, now what? Like, what's Lotus's plan here? I don't know how they win this. Do you stay in with Nihilego? Do you, like, keep healing it? Because if you want to stay in, you have to use a Nurse Joy, or you let it go down to Buzzhole, potentially. I mean, maybe that's the move. Maybe you bait in Buzzhole and say, hey, go ahead, I have exactly 30 health. Attack me with your 2 energy move. And then reverse Giratina smash it, right? Let Giratina wipe out the Buzzhole. That could be the play. That could be the play. Hey, look at me. I have exactly 30 health. Come on, Buzzswole. Come on. Come on. Attack me. You know you wanna. You won't. You won't. Go for it. Look, 30 health. You get to use that punch move that just does 30 damage. It's so fun to use that move and KO a Pokemon. Don't you want to do it, Buzzswole? No! With the poison gone. That's devastating. Now Buzzhole can actually KO the Nihilego with an amount of impunity. Probably won't, though. More realistically, the other Formosa is just going to switch in by the power of Celesteela. And, smack the squid in the face. Actually, it doesn't have a face. Nihilego doesn't have a face, does it? It doesn't have a face. I guess it kind of does. It's got like a star pattern. But that's all around it, right? Those aren't eyes. Does it have a face? Is it like a squid where the face is underneath? I don't know. Where's Nihilgo's face? Somebody ask Lusamine. I bet she knows. Alright. Formosa does some big damage, and, you know, this is putting Giratina in Buzzhole range. It's also putting Nihilego in knockout range from any of the Formosa. And if Nihilego... if Nihilego goes down, you can only afford to lose one more Pokemon, because all your Pokemon are 2 prize points. So I'm not feeling that good about this Nihilego strategy that Lotus implemented. But on the other hand, I don't know if there was a better option. It really kind of seems like the Buzzhole deck just won from the beginning. It could have tried a more aggressive option starting with Darkrai. Just bruise through the first Formosa. Maybe take out the second. Have Giratina in the back. And then hopefully Goober smash the Buzzhole in the end. They could have tried that. Like a more aggro strat. I honestly think that would have been better maybe. If Lotus had started Darkrai instead of starting Nihilego. But, you know, hindsight is 2020. This is one of those situations where I'm honestly not sure if Lotus had any plays here. It really did seem like they were countered from turn 1. Like, the Buzzhole deck just drew the right cards at the right time. And it was kind of GG. One of the funny things about this is Lusamine can't activate unless you deliberately discard energy by retreating. We saw that before. A clever tactic. This is for the marbles. You gotta remember, Lotus is representing Squad 0. SunClan is getting close to that 10-point win con. They're getting very close. If SunClan takes it, I don't know if Lotus can defeat 3 decks with just 1 deck. You know, Lotus really wants this game. Crazy Erica healing coming down on that Formosa, just keeping it alive. It's like... SunClan hasn't taken any damage. Not really. They've just been chilling. Chilling, you know, little tiny bugs biting a squid over and over. Eventually, they're gonna win. The mighty golden Nihilego just can't keep up with Jump Blues. There's Guzma, but not very effective. Yeah, I think that this strategy is just not working. I think it's not working. I think maybe Darkrai should have been in the active slot, and Darkrai should have just tried to rush Formosa and allowed it to hit for 40 damage every turn. That runs other risks, you know, Buzzhole could come forward early, things like that, but I think this was just too weak, too slow. You're trying to run poison tech against a deck that can literally retreat as much as it wants to. It's just not that great. It's just not that great. I think Lotus maybe could have played the aggro version. Maybe that would have been better. I'm not going to say that for sure, but I definitely feel like either way, SunClan countered them very well here. Red card goes off. Squad Zero is, you know, they're doing their best. They're doing their best. It does seem like they're in a really tight spot here. The Squid is just not able to deal with these Formosas. They're making a mimosa out of the Formosa, or you'd like to, but that's not what's happening. Oh no! Did they wait too long? Did they wait too long? They waited too long. They waited too long and missed the attack. And that attack would have wiped out that Formosa too. It would have done 50 damage. That's gotta hurt. They waited too long. I mean, that's just a straight up unforced error. There was no reason for it. They should have just made the move. Yeah, Squad Zero slipping up a little this set. We've seen sets where they play everything perfectly. They do things that blow my mind, and they have this set. You know, we've seen matches that have blown our minds for sure. This one, not so much. This one, it kind of looks like Squad Zero was up against a very difficult counter deck, but also maybe didn't play it perfectly either. Whereas SunClan's playing it very well. SunClan's very on point. What do you do here if you're Squad Zero? You put in Darkrai, you lose to Buzzhole. You put in Giratina, you lose to Buzzhole. You put in the other Darkrai, you can survive one turn before losing to Buzzhole. I don't know. I think that Squad Zero has lost this game. Yep, there's the concede. All right, so Jacob will take game 16, and that means that Lotus from Squad Zero, their gym leader, will have to win all 3 remaining games in a row, or SunClan just wins. It's 9-7. It's 9-7. This is... SunClan is... I hate to say this, but SunClan is winning this rivalry right now. I'm sorry, but that's what I'm witnessing. Ooh, hero moment. Hero moment. All right, 1 Sab, 1 Sai. I'm going to try to remember this. 1 Lily. This is the deck. This is the deck that Squad Zero used to devastating effect last week. But it can break. And Squad Zero's luck hasn't been the best this set. They've been going first dang near every game. They keep going first. Can Lotus win the next 3 games? Going first again? How many times did they... Okay. Alright, I'm calling shenanigans. How many times are they going first? How many times are they going first? We've witnessed 16 games. This could be the last one. If SunClan wins this, it's over. If SunClan wins this, they win. How many times did Squad Zero have to go first? That's brutal. All right, an interesting opening for Squad Zero. They've got double Morlul, they've got Cosmog, they've got some mid-tier stuff in hand. But they have to go first, and so they're probably going to drop a Morlul to a Kartana Rush. Kartana's a funny card like that in the current meta. If you get to go second with Kartana, you can just pick up a free prize point. Or terrorize your opponent's energy, because you force them to retreat. Like, Kartana loves going second. Silvally loves going second. I feel like Going second was always a big advantage. Weirdly, Giratina Darkrai, when that was the best deck, you were never sure if going second was good or not. It was always good, but your opponent's Giratina would be a little bit ahead, you know, so there was that. But now, going second's just bad. Squad Zero doesn't have anything. They got nothing right now. None of the stuff they need. Obviously, you put the energy on the Cosmom. That's not a question. Oh, they're thinking about playing Mars. Do they play Mars? One thing they might be thinking about is whether or not they want to retreat cycle Morlul, but I think that's just silly. There's no reason to retreat cycle the Morlul. I would just plop that energy right on that Cosmom, play Mars, maybe, or not, up to you, and hope to Solgaleo, because you got a lion to win here. Alright, they decide not to play Mars. Maybe they don't want to give their opponent more basics, but that doesn't really work. I mean, your opponent's going to get the basics eventually. Yeah, they get the Professor's Research. Yeah, tapping on Mars. And the Pokeball. What do we get? Anything but a Buzzhole is good for, yeah, Formosa's not bad. No, I take that back. Formosa's really bad. Yeah, because Formosa, yeah, basically just picks up a freaking double. Formosa takes out the Morlul and damages anything else it wants. It could damage the second Morlul, put it in Kartana range. It could hit the Cosmom. Ugh. Ugh. It's like the Avengers have assembled over on Sun Clan. Yeah, goes for the Cosmom. That's the right move. That's the right move. Because, you know, if that turns into a Solgaleo, it's the win con and the carry all in one. I would not have played that Cosmog. No, use Mars! Use Mars! Why are you waiting? Play Mars! Alright, Stiffen will protect Cosmom, but it will not protect Cosmog, I believe. Cosmog can still take damage, so I wouldn't have put it on the bench yet. I feel like that was a little bit early. It was maybe a little bit early to put on the bench. We'll see if that ends up mattering later on. Meanwhile, the Ultra Beasts are frightening. You know, they're here to invade. They're here to cause havoc, mayhem, and upset the natural order. Because they come from a different universe where our natural order is unnatural. Probably. I don't know. Someone can lore check me on that. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that can damage the Cosmog. It's got a 50 health shield, effectively. So we're probably just going to see Formosa attack and poke the Cosmog. Yeah. Yeah. It was a little early to play that, I think. Wow! No Shiinotic. No Solgaleo. Not even an Oak. Way too early to have played the Cosmog. I said it before and I'll say it again, that should not have been put on the bench. Yeah, I mean, Lotus showed up with that first game. That very, very clever, very tactical game. That was probably one of the best games. Well, one of the best games we've seen this set. But this is... We're seeing some slip-ups. I don't know what else to say. We're seeing some slip-ups. And some bad luck, to be sure. Bad luck is definitely a component here. Wow. The Cyrus disables Cosmom's shield, enabling... No, they're not even going to hit the Cosmom. They're just going to take out the remaining Cosmog with Kartana. Oh no! Is this the end? Is this the end? Is there nothing that can save Squad Zero? I've got to say, Squad Zero was incredibly unlucky with all of the... Ooh. Literally, one thing you can pull. One thing you can pull. Yeah. Alright, forget about how many lions can beat how many Pokemon. How many Pokemon can one Solgaleo beat? That's what this game is about. Overall, though, I have to say, Squad Zero was very unlucky. They had to go first every single game. Right, they had to go first practically every game. I think the coin flips were mostly fair otherwise, but... No, I think the coin flips were mostly fair. It does seem like SunClan got very good draws, though. But overall, Lily? No, that had to be Lily. That was a Lily or you lose moment. That was a Lily or you lose moment. And they're only running one. That's the thing. Maybe you want more than one Lily in this deck. Yeah. I think that SunClan did play this set better. I'm Squad Zero's biggest fan, but I gotta say, despite the very bad luck in having to go first all the time, I feel like Squad Zero did make some mistakes. I feel like SunClan was really on point, especially with the Mars plays, the red card plays. Mars and red card are win more cards. Like, they're better the better you are, the luckier you are. That has to be acknowledged. They are a little bit win more to some extent, but also they were very well timed. Wow, and the Cyrus. Yeah, they just got taken apart. GG. Well played. All right, so SunClan has won this grudge match. They have defeated Squad Zero quite convincingly. I mean, Squad Zero put up a good fight. We didn't get to see Randomways play, but there were definitely some of Squad Zero's like amazing members in this. We got to see Dark, we got to see Lotus, Zesty. Like, every name is big. Every name is big. I think that SunClan just won. I don't know what else to say. They played better. Their deck building was very good. I think Squad Zero made some decisions that were a little bit questionable both in the game and in the overall battle. Like, both in the battle and the war. Starting out with that Arika to counter Darkrai Giratina was questionable because it immediately put them on the back foot, right? That deck was hard countered by Silvally. You knew they were running at least one Silvally. And then that Silvally deck just started snowballing, right? It just went crazy. And they didn't have an answer for it. You really need to have an answer for the Silvally Zorua deck. I mean, it's one of the most popular decks. And Squad Zero wasn't running enough Silvally decks of their own at the end of the day. I don't know. I feel like the deck choice could have been better. The counter picks could have been better. Some of the in-game decisions could have been better. And SunClan played really, really well. I don't think I've criticized SunClan maybe more than once, if at all, during this set. Of course, I can't see their cards, and I'm doing this from Squad Zero's perspective, so, we're watching them a little more carefully. But yeah, no, I think SunClan played amazing. SunClan played really solid. I think they earned the win. This was a great set. These were some great games. Squad Zero played really, really well. When I'm talking about mistakes, I'm talking about like one small thing here or there. Just that's the level of play we're talking about. But these were some great games. These were some amazing games. Congrats to everybody. This was a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed that crazy Darkrai game where it was double Nurse Joy, Darkrai stall into Giratina. That was clever. That was clever. And there were some clever moments. Alright, I'm going to check the chat real quick just to see if anybody had any questions or was saying anything that I missed. Let me see. Doesn't look like on YouTube. Hey, Disobeyed! How are you? Wow, lots of folks on Twitch this time. Hope you're doing well, Disobeyed. I'll actually type that too, because I'm in the past. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're done. There's nothing else to say. Maybe we'll have one of the players see if they want to come on and do a quick interview. I think I fixed it so we can actually hear them this time. Let me see if we can get one of the players if they want to come on. They lost, so they might not want to, but I'm going to ask real quick. Just give me 1 second. We'll see if we can get a player on. All right, they're doing a post-game interview. I don't want to interrupt that, because they're talking about what went wrong and what to do better. So I didn't want to like ask and say, hey, I want to do an interview, troll YouTuber. You know, I want to let them do their team thing. So we're gonna wrap it up here. I hope everybody had fun watching these games. I gotta say, I expected this to be a lot closer. I expected this to be a lot more tense. Um, I think Squad Zero wasn't at 100% today. I think this was like 90% of their power maybe. And SunClan was at 105%. They were on fire. If they play like that every set, oh my goodness, SunClan is crazy. SunClan goes crazy. A great game to both teams. That was fantastic play, amazing games. This has been the Sneaky Dragon. Hopefully we can do some more fun videos this week. I got something special planned, but I'm also starting a new job. I'll be a little bit busier. And as a result of that, I might have to go back to like one video a week with some weekend streams like this. But hopefully, once I get used to the new job, we can keep cranking that out. I'll catch everybody later. Congrats again to SunClan, and this has been Global Gym Battles, where teams compete to try to see which is the best team in the world. And I mean that because there's so many international teams. An Italian team, another Italian team, a Japanese team, another Japanese team, 2 French teams. Literally in the world. The best team in the world in Pokemon Pocket. I'll catch you later. And we're still on YouTube because YouTube is magic. And I have to push a special button to make YouTube